All righty. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's race day. I'd rather be no one else. Welcome to the Savage Race Pro men's and women's waves from Ohio. I'm, of course, Mappy Davis, where safety is my number one priority. With me is the 2012 third place beast and ultra beast man himself, Bracken Crocker. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm a little more depressed now that you bring up that. A decade, you have to go a decade into my past, Matt, to find a good accomplishment.
Well, I almost said Highlander Assault. Which would you have prefer I said? The recent the recent third place?
Nope, stick with 2012.
Well, you know, I talked to Amelia and we talked about that. I know you're not a big podcast listener, but Amelia and I went all the way back to we described the original Ultra Beast to people, which is hard to get. But listen, that's another story for another time. Welcome, everybody. We're very, very excited. This comment, I'm going to put this in right away, even though it's spelled wrong. It says Atkins taking this one. Ryan Atkins, I think this is the return of the power couple, Ryan and Lindsay, wouldn't you say?
Has to be. And the sport's been waiting for them. We're better with them in it.
Absolutely. And they didn't come to that first big Spartan race. They haven't been to a Savage yet. They didn't come to High Rocks. So we're getting to see them for the first time.
Yeah, it's been a series of canceled events for them. I was almost not believing we'd actually see the mythical couple until we saw a video from their Instagram account showing them on site yesterday jogging around.
Well, we've got we'll go ahead and just show the people that race is happening there in beautiful Ohio. We're going to have some amazing coverage from our on-the-ground team, and the men will be making way to their corral. Have you been to this particular ski resort, Bracken?
I have not been to this one.
What do you know about it? Have you previewed the elevation change?
Yeah, and now I'm a Midwest guy. This is a Midwest ski resort, so I can tell you, Midwest ski resorts are like foothills of a normal ski resort, but they're steep. The runs are short, but they're steep. They're very, very thickly grown with vegetation. So this is not going to be a 15-minute climb to the top, but every single step up the mountain is real.
I got to ask you, as a pro, how do you know how much of that fuel to use? How much of that lactic acid do you want to burn on that on an early hill, on an uphill start of a race?
There's only one way to find that out, and that's through running hills early and often in training. And so Ryan and Lindsay could not have picked a better race to make their comeback for. It's been over a year since they've raced OCR outside of the Spartan Cross that they did. And so they are going to be rusty. If you believe that ring rust is a thing, they'll have it. But they know the mountains more than anyone else in this entire field. And so they're at least not going to be surprised by terrain.
You're saying ring rust as if it's you. Are you saying it's perhaps only in your head? It doesn't exist?
It's as real as you allow it to be. It's definitely real if the first time you step back in the ring is the first time you've experienced anything like that. But if you're training in a way that mimics your race, then it's much less of a real thing, except Savage has some pretty technical obstacles. So while I'm not concerned about their obstacle proficiency, for the first time ever, we might see either of them slower into or through an obstacle. But maybe not.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me. I don't talk about it often, but in my football days, you know, the thing that lets you know is that if you're on the kickoff team, right, and you get hit by somebody, rust over, I'm back, right? What is the equivalent of that in a race? Is it standing next to your competitors? Is it smelling the mud?
I think in this race, it's going to be hitting the first descent and ringing the first bell. That would be my guess. But if Logan Broadbent really does show up on the men's side, then he's going to be the punch in the mouth early because he's as good as anyone in the U.S. right now. He did well in a short race in February, and he is historically better at longer races, and he is a little spider monkey through obstacles. So while Ryan's the prohibitive favorite, Logan is primed to play spoiler very much the same way that Ken Crigliano took down VJ Jones at this exact same venue in what was probably the best Savage race on the men's side we've ever seen.
So Logan is definitely here, according to Lord Parker, Savage employee. Some say Savage, owner. Who knows with these guys? They like to play it. They say we're all race directors. We're all the owners. We know Logan is there. We know Atkins is there. We know Woods is there. Looks like we've got a no on Kempson and a yes on Logan. Who else are we watching out for today?
At this point, after those first three, it's kind of that stereotypical everybody races for that third spot in case one of those top three screws something up. And in Savage Race, again, we're looking at a rig. We're
looking at Logan, by the way. Let's get a shot. You want to say hi, Dan? Let's say hi to Logan. Hang on a second.
You guys want to hear from him?
Sure. Morning, buddy.
You want to hear from me?
Yeah, here.
Oh man, this is weird. Oh, hey guys.
Oh, give him the headset. This is like a professional show.
Oh my goodness, what is going on? NBD in the house.
And
is Bracken there too?
Oh, can you?
I am.
All right, sorry guys, I can't see you. The camera's facing me the other way.
All right, well listen, buddy. Go have a great race, okay?
I have one question for you before we get started so that we can talk about it.
What do you got?
What is your fitness like compared to Jacksonville?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I injured my back just after American Ninja Warrior. I'm not one to talk about excuses at all, so I'm not going to make it an excuse, but I'm going to see how long it'll hold out. And I'm just going to go for it. So hopefully I haven't lost any fitness dealing with the injury, but we're about to find out.
You ready for hills?
I love hills, man. I love hills. This is what I'm all about. I can't wait.
Excellent. I'm pumped to see you out there.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. See you guys soon.
We don't have substitutes or burpees.
Make Ohio proud.
All right, go head over to the start, Dan. We'll see the rest of the men coming in while we take a look at the map. Let's pull up the old map. So what did that tell you? Is he telling us the truth? What do you think?
Yeah, it means he missed some training time. But again, historically, he's better, longer, and steeper. He put in a lot of track work in the offseason to be ready for Jacksonville, and he did very well there. But this is more of his bread and butter.
All right. So what jumps out at you from today's first map here?
So the first right away, they shoot you right up the side of the mountain and then right up to the top of the mountain. It's one big horseshoe-shaped climb and descent, and then you're right back up and down. If I'm seeing this correctly, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 times up ski hills today.
Yeesh. But like you said, they're not. It's not going to be the death march.
It's not a death march, and in a way, it's almost worse.
Because there's so many of them?
Because they're so short that you can't settle into a power hikey type of grindy effort. Each one of these is going to be sharp and intense. You didn't do Welch Village, did you? The sprint in Minnesota?
No, sir. I've not been to that one.
Okay. So that course, 30 seconds into it, everyone in the field was miserable, and it didn't stop until 35 minutes later. And I have a feeling today is going to be a lot like that. So the first, immediately you head up and you hit some grip obstacles within the first mile or two. But again, right at the finish, we have that Savage rig along with another grip obstacle or two. And it's preceded again by getting wet, sliding down the slide, soaking yourself. It's a nasty setup for the end of a race.
There goes Woodsy.
Yeah.
We just unmuted. Say hi, Woodsy.
Oh, he just ran away.
Oh, all right. We'll keep you unmuted here for a second in case we see anybody. Besides, I like to hear the sounds and the smells if we can.
Pro Savages, you have 2 hours to complete.
Matt, on the women's side, we have Lindsay Webster. Has Lindsay done a Savage, or has she only done one?
No, Lindsay and Ryan both came down here and did Georgia. Was it the same year you did it, buddy?
No, not that year. And then Ryan did Maryland one year as well, correct?
I can't remember, but I'm going to say yes. Probably our fans in the chat will let us know.
So Lindsay's had one. Has she seen any of the new obstacles? I mean, she does well at OCR World. She's probably not something we have to worry about.
Yeah, and I think, don't you think her lead will be so big? Probably that it won't matter.
I mean, in theory, but
There's without a Nicola or a Becca to push her.
Dustin Livingood there.
Oh, nice. The old man himself. Hey, Dustin.
So this will be his second one. His first one, he kind of got smacked around a little bit and self-admittedly learned some things, but he's so fit, so good that he's gonna move up nicely.
Discord, aka Running Public Zone, Carl Fallish says Lindsay won in 2015.
No, I don't think that was, but that looked like a VJ who ran by. Didn't it?
I'm sorry. I was working on the comment here. Why is Pearl not racing?
Who is this we have walking right towards us here?
That right there. Oh, that's the new stud, I think, isn't it? Is this the new stud, Dan?
It looks like it.
You want me to get his name?
No, we know his name.
Oh.
Yes, I believe this is the gentleman who finished first in the age group wave. Didn't know about elite. That guy, correct?
To me, it looks like it, but I haven't met him in person, so I can't speak on that.
So yeah, neither have I. But his name is. Hang on a second. I'm trying to pull up my text here. Oh, guys, I know you guys will kill me for not knowing his name. They're gonna pump it up. Someone's gonna type it here in a second. Sean Roberts, thank you, Scott the Fay Knowles. So we'll mute while they're doing the national anthem there. So yes, his name is Sean Roberts, and apparently he was the super stud in Florida. First time seeing these obstacles. So I think he's going to push the men in the first couple of miles, but we'll see when they get to that first rig, or maybe when they get to what are those earlier ones? Battering birds not till later. Anyway, we'll see early on how it goes.
He's the one we saw down in Jacksonville, correct?
We didn't see him. He raced, but he crushed, and that we didn't see him. His name is Sean Roberts.
So he was a D1 middle distance track runner.
Correct.
Sub 150 in the 800, I believe, sub 4 in the mile. I think he's the one who did some training with Mark Gaudette. He's military, if I'm not mistaken, has some, if not special forces training, trains with special forces OCR racers, and they kind of prepped him for it a little bit. And if looks determine fitness, this guy is going to be an absolute animal because he looks the part.
Awesome. I'm excited to see how it goes. Dan, if you want to go ahead and head to the corral, though, because they're going to start here in like 3 minutes. I'd like to get a nice shot of them in the corral. They're going to run right up in your face, and then we'll switch it over to Lee in the vehicle. Lee, you're good. We got Lee there, ready to go. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited. It's never gets old.
It really doesn't. And every time you think, all right, we've done 4 or 5 Savage races this year, we know what to expect. Bunch of new people come out, the course venue changes, the layout of the obstacles change, and new blood shakes things up.
New blood shakes things up, and here we go. Now we're getting pumped. And something about starting to do these live. Not like giving us credit, but just getting people excited, getting the community excited, because we've been bringing these to you every week or whenever there's a race. There he is. There's the handsome, long-haired Canadian himself.
My hope is that Sean's prepared for these obstacles and Logan is healthy, because they're two of the, it shouldn't matter, but they're two of the prettiest runners you'll see in terms of running form. They're spring off the ground. They have the type of stride that every other runner wants. And I'd like to have them on camera watching them battle with the two Ryans for deep into this race.
I'm going to go ahead and say, look at the fitness. I mean, there's a Greek god at the start line.
Yeah. And we've all been fooled by that at OCR races in the past.
Of course.
But we also know his running pedigree. And we know that he absolutely buried the course in Jacksonville with no real race experience prior to that.
Yeah, look at this. This is exciting, man. Are you pumped, Bracken?
I mean, this is a national level race at the top here.
Who's our guy in the far right here? I think everyone's kind of afraid. Like, well, I know there's distancing too, but I don't know if anybody wants to run with these workhorses.
We're gonna find out today. The first question in OCR is, can you do obstacles? The second is, can you carry? The third is, can you run up and down steep hills? So Sean gets to test out that steep hill theory today. If he can get past that, then we've got a legitimate contender on our hands.
Yeah, it looks like we got nice signal here. We got a pretty start.
Matt, you watch fighting at all? Do you watch MMA?
I watch some of the big ones, and I watch a lot of 1 minute highlights. I don't drop down the $60 for the shows mostly.
With every sexy new prospect that comes up, they always have what's called the wrestler test. Can you fight? Sure, but until you can get past a solid wrestler who's just going to try to hold you down all day, you're not a true prospect. And in my mind, mountains that's the wrestler test in OCR. He can be fast. You can be flashy.
Because you can punch, but once you go to the ground game, can you hang in there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the mountains are our ground game. They grind everything down to this slow, monotonous, to some people boring race, but there's no faking it. You can't fake the mountains. And today, this is his wrestler test, and I'm really excited to see if he can pass it.
Well, I will now be using that in future broadcasts, even if you're not with me. I think that's an awesome analogy.
Oh, I'm just chuffed over here, Matt.
I'm a sucker for good analogies.
I live my life one analogy to the next.
Folks watching at home, welcome to Savage Race Ohio 2020.
Oh, I love it. Those watching at home and the millions around the world. What's the next line, Bracken?
It's time.
No, the previous, the predecessor. It's time.
You're talking Bruce?
Let's get ready to rumble. Come on.
Oh, Michael?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Here it is. There's nothing more deceptive than the first 100 meters up a ski hill race. It looks like everyone's getting out just control, and in reality, heart rate's already skyrocketing and legs are screaming, and you're only 50 meters into a race.
Right. Did you do the second Warrior Dash World Championship?
No, I only did the first.
Oh, that first one was like this, but worse. Like it was just, we were standing there watching these ants come running towards us. I kind of like the sound on. You can leave your sound on, Dan, for now.
Okay, there you go.
I thought we meant Lee. I thought we're on Lee's camera. Sorry, you should mute yourself. We should mute you, Dan. Sorry. Go ahead and mute yourself. All right, here they come up the hill. We can't see anything yet. I guess we will in a moment. And we froze.
If this is Logan leading, this is a good sign. He's a semi-aggressive racer, but he wouldn't bother leading if he didn't have some fitness behind him.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and put the women up real quick, just as we wait for the men here.
Atkins now takes the lead.
Okay. There we go. Just want to get a quick shot of the women here. There's Lindsay, far left.
I think we saw Amy Pajic here.
Oh, yeah. Amy's making a return. We haven't seen her in a minute. There's Chris. Is that Chrissy?
Chrissy, Tiffany. We've got a legit field here, too, as well. Good.
There's our friend from Noob Sanity.
So we've got about at least 6 deep women's field as well. So both sides are going to see excellent races. Obviously, we expect Lindsay to do what she does and climb better than anyone else in the field and descend better than anyone else and then not fail any grip obstacles. But with short climbs, short descents, and tricky obstacles, you can't really count anyone out right away.
All right, let's go back to the men here, cresting this first hill.
So I'd expect Ryan to come up first here. He's just spent more time in the mountains than anyone.
But he's not.
No, he's not.
He's second
about to be.
Somebody else.
Woodsy there in about 7th place right now, and Sean behind him. What's Sean's last name, Matt?
Roberts.
I want to say Sean Rogers, but that's a different guy entirely. You know, he looks decently smooth on the downhill, but you can see that he's not gaining on anyone, which means he still doesn't have that off-road OCR descending down pat. And of course he shouldn't. He's new to the game.
Well, to the simple person, to the new person, why is running downhill on dirt that much harder than running downhill at a big marathon or a 10K?
Because if it's not paved, it's generally 2 to 3 times as steep. And then when you can't fully trust your footing, it's a very learned skill.
Who's that way ahead?
That's Atkins now.
That's Atkins.
Yeah,
way ahead of everyone.
Women just took
Atkins
off.
has gotten into the lead, and they're entering into the wood section. We'll see him again in about 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the women on, I guess.
This is a race, Matt, that it's so short that every downhill has to be bombed at a pace that most people wouldn't generally touch during a race. And someone might lose this race by not committing on the very first downhill. They might never catch up. Yeah.
Really? When you say that's short, it's still what, 6 miles?
It's 6 miles, but there's no descent that's going to take longer than 40 seconds. And so they just actually have to be bombed from start to the finish, and not a lot of people are prepared to do that or have any history of doing that. And Ryan has more history bombing downhills than anyone else. So I wouldn't be surprised if he suddenly has a 20, 30-second lead before everyone else wakes up and realizes what this race actually entails today.
I love it. Nick Riker checking in from Nashville. Our buddy Nick. Back on the mend. I don't know if you heard that. Nick Riker already training sooner than he thought.
Yeah, he got running again, and that makes the whole OCR community happy.
So we patiently await them to come out of this hill.
2 seconds or less.
As we watch the women. Look at that. You said there's no power hike. There they go. There they go. Now they're jogging again. They were power hiking for a moment there.
They were, weren't they?
Chrissy in the lead. Meg is the noob sanity. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of your name, Meg Julian. Now they're getting too far afield, as they say. Whoa.
All right, here come the men.
So we'll see if anyone woke up. Woods and Logan would probably be the first two to wake up and try to run Atkins right down into range. Yeah, looks like Logan right. Oh no. That's that person you questioned. Who is this guy up there?
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out when we get to the first obstacle. So it was Atkins, person we're not sure, Woods, and then was that Logan third?
Logan was third, yeah.
We might have to ask you to get a name for us there, Lee, but not when he's out of breath. Jordan, that's Jordan McDougal, says Lloyd Parker.
Okay, so that would make sense. Jordan can run mountains, both up and down.
Okay, what do you say about this? What do you say about this flapping arms method of going downhill?
When it's this steep, absolutely. You let your arms just be your stabilizers. Now look at Sean moving up here. This is what high level athletes do. He's learning on the fly. And the best way, we've talked about in the past, Matt, the best way to learn how to descend is to run right next to good descenders.
All right, he's got like inches on these guys too. He's like a pretty tall runner.
He looks really athletic when he moves too. He just caught up to Logan, who's a good downhill runner. He just caught that whole pack. Yeah, and he did it through downhill and obstacles. It took him one descent before he caught on to how this game is played. Now he's running away from these guys because he has better foot speed than them. So that's awesome to see. That's Logan, first check mark. He checked it.
Yeah, Logan does not want him to get out of his sights though. Logan's like, hang on a second.
Yeah, and that's that response that you don't see out of new people usually. So if we're riding hype trains, I'm kind of tooting the horn here. He adjusted faster than most people would.
What if that was his plan all along?
I mean, it certainly could be, but even that's a KG plan to watch the good descenders descend, learn how to do it, and then match them. Now he's got Ryan Woods in his sight, who probably had double the lead a quarter mile ago. Not a lot of people run Ryan down when they just decide to.
Yeah, I've not been to this venue. This is my first look at all this. And these are all the kind of easier obstacles. Like I said, when we get to hanging stuff, we're gonna really see.
So Ryan's got about 4. Atkins has 4 or 5 seconds on Jordan, who's got about 3 or 4 seconds on Woodsy.
I recognize Woodsy's gait now, probably from like 2 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about pretty runners at the top of the show. Woods would never qualify as that, but he gets the job done.
Nice.
Jordan McDougal, he falls under that list of guys who just don't get the acclaim in the sport, but have the ability to be as good as anyone.
Try to get to the wood section. We're going to lose them for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, see if we can get a shot of the women who are also in the woods.
Jordan did what Ryan Woods did. His background on the track and cross.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on one second. Look what we got. Look what we got right here. Kempson, we really wanted you there, buddy. You see this? You see this comment?
Yeah, and this is a Ryan Kempson course here for sure. Look at that. That looks like East Coast there, those woods. Back to Jordan McDougal, though. This man is essentially Ryan Woods, but younger. He ran Division I track and cross country at Liberty University. He was a sub 14-minute 5K guy, I believe. He ran, or he might have run 14:02. He's run a fast mile under 4:10. He ran on Team USA for mountain running championships, just like Ryan Woods did. They have the very same background, and he hasn't yet really broken through in any big performance, but he's had Savage Race podiums. And today, if he beats a Logan, if he beats a Ryan Atkins, that I think that qualifies as a breakthrough.
Taylor Cedeno checking in. Taylor surprised everyone. She crushed that rig at the last Savage to make the podium ahead of some big names. Welcome, Taylor.
That was a crazy rig to watch.
Look who else is joining us on the feed.
Is he talking to you or me, Matt?
Beast?
Yeah.
Killian, who are you talking about, buddy? So we've got the pros that aren't here are watching along on this exciting feed. Unfortunately, guys, those of you that are probably complaining where are the runners, we've got both men and women in the woods right now, so we're waiting for them to come out.
We saw Ryan blast out to the front on the men's side. And on Lindsay's side, we saw her power hiking in 5th place about 200 meters into that race. Different starting strategies, but now it's going to be the same result.
I recognize her gait from a mile away, too. I just love watching all you guys bracking over all these years.
You become intimately acquainted with people's strides, man.
Yes, I have. So who we got coming up in second? We got Chrissy and who's that in third?
That was Tiffany Palmer.
Thank you.
Tiffany rocking the American flag shorts again. We really appreciate at home any racer who wears something other than black on race day. Black obviously makes the most sense, but anything unique really helps us pick you out on course.
There's Meg. Bracken, you've been known to rock some USA split shorts, no?
Here comes the guys.
Just once, actually, Matt, and you were there. Twice, maybe. Twice.
I'm at Rainbow.
Shit, having fun out here. Woo! Good.
There goes Woods. We have Woods just ahead of our newcomer.
I'll get there.
I love natural obstacles. Have I mentioned that?
Yeah, it's, Ryan Kempson checking in posted about that this week, that the natural obstacles really can make a race. Like this section right here, there's no course design other than choosing to go through it, but it absolutely counts as an obstacle and what it does to your legs and your mental focus needed to get through it.
Right. Was it the last race we covered where there was just like a little mud pit and it ends up being like a massive decider of which way you decided to go, and it's an on-the-spot decision, right?
Yeah. And look at this group of chase pack here. That's not the body language you see out of that chase pack a lot of the time. These guys are still working hard.
We can just go ahead and go around.
That right there is the difference between Savage Race and, I talked about how I don't always love mandatory obstacle completion, but that's one of the beauties of it, is it gives that chase pack real incentive to not back off, because they know anything can happen up front, so they keep racing hard.
Right.
Like this, right?
If there were nothing failable, those people might settle into their own little battle amongst each other and say, okay, I can't get 4th or 3rd, but I'm going to make sure I don't lose 5th.
Yeah, it's no disrespect, but it's not just like, well, I hope they miss the spear.
Right. They're all on it. Oh, this is good. I like seeing this. As much as dominating performances are exciting, this right here is what makes us excited at home.
Look at this. Look at the two Ryans. Friends and competitors. Ryan Woods on the hands and knees. Atkins just kind of powering it. Interesting.
Okay, so Sean's caught Jordan now. And so has Logan. And so has that gentleman.
We are at, what are we at, mile 2? And still everybody's kind of in the hunt, huh?
So if that's Jordan there in the calf sleeves, he was really all in on training this spring. Got really, really fit, probably as strong and muscular as we've seen him in this sport, which in a marathon might not pay off, but in this sport certainly will. And then he did a similar thing to what I had to happen, Matt. He hurt his calf And I don't know if it was strained or tore, but he was unable to go to the last Savage race because his calf hung him up. So this might be a little bit of what we're seeing here, is the calf, the training he missed coming back to bite him.
Now we have a shot of the women. We're trying to get a shot of the women there, but looks like we're going to lose them again. So we're going to go back to the men.
And this is not the course to be on if you've missed
look at
time
this.
with
Look
calf
at this
injury.
on pedal for the medal. Oh wow! Now I don't know that I've ever seen all of the pedals full. I don't think they have had it this early in a race even before. This is awesome. Get off the vehicle. Let's see their faces. Oh wait, who's up to the early lead? Atkins in the early lead. Woods right behind him.
Woods is playing a role he never plays in racing, which against Atkins here today, he's the obstacle specialist because he's seen these obstacles tenfold compared to Atkins. Obviously, Atkins is great at obstacles, but Woodsy's going to steal a second or two just by starting each obstacle with knowledge of how to do it.
All right. And we
There you
got
go. Drop the tire on the mat.
newcomer Robert in third,
Did not lose a spot during that.
Followed by Logan. And is that Zoich? James Zoich
Yes,
right there, the tall guy?
It sure is. It's Jay-Z.
So Zoich could certainly play spoiler right here in this group.
This is the best battle we've seen so far this year.
Let's
We
get a
have
little bit closer,
five guys in podium,
Over
easy
the
podium
parallel,
position.
but not so far away.
So the battle up front is obviously impressive, but I'm most impressed right now with Sean.
That he's still hanging in there?
Not even hanging in. Look at this gap he's putting on Logan. Watch Logan run. He's clearly a strong downhill runner, and he's fearless, and Sean's gapping him.
Welcome, Ian K. from the UK. Thanks for joining from across the pond.
Now, I don't want to read too far into Sean's training life because I don't know his historical data, but he cannot have run too many races on a ski hill in his life. So this is, I know I'm kind of beating this drum over and over, but he's learning on the fly as well as we've seen someone do.
Can we rock, paper, scissors, who gets him on the show first for an interview?
Did you see that? Do we have a fail on the first one of those or no?
On the ball, yeah, he missed it, but it only took him like a second.
That's that kind of thing, though, right? In this close race, now Sean will miss at least twice.
And you were correct. Hips, buddy. You got to get the. Now he's only throwing with his arms. He wasn't getting down.
And that's one of. That's if you've not done a wall ball, which what runner's done. Logan missed his first as well. You're going to underthrow your first one because you're not going to use any legs. So Logan's missed twice. When you get to this stage in a race, Matt, your legs, especially on a mountain race, your quads are definitely not feeling good. And you have to drive from your quads and hips. And so you get to an obstacle and you're used to trying to give your legs a break. I'll take this one on my arms so that my legs can get back to descending. And so that's really sneaky obstacle placement on a downhill where people don't want to use their legs.
All right. This is the. Did he get through really quickly? Our newcomer just rocked that one. I wouldn't have expected him to go through that one so quick.
That was an interesting technique.
Stay underneath.
Yeah. Who's that on top? You're doing it wrong, buddy.
First, he skipped the first pull, and then he started going over under through technique. So I guess I'll forgive him for missing the first pull because he went over the second one. But yeah, Sean got through fast, and he's got double the lead going out against two veterans of the game that he had going in.
Right, as we get a look at the women again. Webster, McFall, Palmer is the 1, 2, 3.
Let's just jump on the road.
Lindsay's already made up a 5-minute gap on the men's field.
How can you tell?
Because she was passing a man.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good math.
Listen, I'm gonna fanboy Sean today. I'm probably just gonna keep praising him all day long because this isn't what Savage Race and OCR debuts are supposed to look like. People are probably going to be tired of me talking about him and not giving love to everyone else out there.
But it's fine. Listen, we give it
impressive.
We give lots of criticism when it deserves it. We give lots of praise when it deserves it. But again, still early. Still not. We haven't gotten to the real hard stuff yet.
And look at all these guys are running hard. There is no drop off yet. And this is that slight downhill grade that you can open up and attack. But unfortunately, every single person ahead of them can also open up attack on this terrain.
Savage letting us know that Sarah is the fourth place woman, Sarah Corba. Unfortunately, we haven't got a ton of great shots of the women. My understanding is that not all the vehicles are strong as other vehicles, so there's just certain spots in the course we get them or we don't.
Look at this gap now, Matt. Through a downhill and obstacle section, he tripled his gap now.
When you say tripled his gap, you mean what?
He probably had a 5-second lead going into that downhill, and now he's up to 15 minimum.
But he's holding a strong third.
Strong. He tripled the gap on the people behind him, but he can still see. You saw Woods and Atkins just scoot out of sight around the corner. He still has them in sight, which is everything in a race like this.
Right, and
he's still catching glimpses.
I would love to know how far we are, Lee, into the race.
Hey, guys. We're at the top of the hill. Lindsay's in first coming over the A-frame.
Okay, let's see if we can get her in there.
And she left the woods minutes before Chris got there.
Yeah, so looks like we won't have as exciting race on the women's side for first anyway. Yeah, we're just looking at a bunch of men. That's why it's been hard to see the women because they're just Lindsay catches everyone.
Yep.
Now, Matt, getting ahead of ourselves, that finishing gauntlet coming off of
Lindsay.
Colossus with wet hands and trashed legs. There's a real good chance we see another occurrence on the women's field of first place is through, and now we have a whole clump of women who get to that last rig, and it's just battle of first two through.
Right.
Where the men's is going to be exciting because if you have a group of people get into the last few rigs, someone's going to have to take chances. Even if they're all capable of getting through the rig, as soon as someone has to take a chance, that's when mistakes happen. And so it's boom or bust. Someone's going to fly through. You could see a Logan trying to last Shea or skip things, and it either pays off or you start over and you lose that podium spot.
So checking out some of the comments here, Bo says we're about halfway. He says we got a
mile
muddy
3 for the men.
A muddy Kiss My Walls coming up. Brittany says, love the IHOP viewing party. Brittany, does this mean you're at an IHOP or we're at an IHOP? I'm very confused.
It's an idea I could get behind.
Doing this from an IHOP, we can get them to sponsor it maybe?
Yes.
What's your pancake of choice, my friend?
You know, pancakes are an afterthought for me. I'm a bacon, sausage, and egg type guy.
Right. If I'm going to have that, though, I'm going to the Waffle House.
Yeah, okay, then I'll take chocolate pancakes with lots of strawberry syrup.
You freaking knew what you liked, Bracken.
I know what I like, but I would reach for meat before pancake.
That's what you said? Sorry.
Keep it on the rails here, Matt.
Sorry, buddy. I'm midway through cup number 2. Sorry.
All right, so as long as I'm going to keep...
We're going to exit to the right.
I'm going to stick on my train of talking
Chris
only about one
over
person
the
in the men's
A-frame.
field. Sean here has had a really impressive first half of the race. The second half now tells us how real that first half is. He either keeps doing more of the same and keeps improving on what he's done, or the downhill beating and the uphill grind starts to wear on him and he comes back to earth. You have bets on what happens here?
Well, you said middle distance, right? How long is he used to running? Because we're at 24 minutes in.
Well, collegiately, he was running the 800 and the mile, 800 meters and 1500 meters. Since then, he's obviously done some work. I don't know him personally. I don't know his training, but historically, he was a shorter 4 minutes or less type guy. But he's already made it 20 minutes into this race. So, I wonder what the descents and climbs are doing to his quads.
Chrissy catching her breath, very controlled while she's doing pedal for the medal. We really haven't seen anyone else. So it's Lindsay, then Chrissy, and then
I don't see Tiffany on the ground there, which makes me wonder if she's at the end.
Dan
she is at the end.
Thanks, Dan, for that up close and personal look.
Anything for you, Matt?
I like what Tiffany was doing there. She put her head back on the ground and breathed rather than keeping her neck tense and core engaged.
It's the little things, dude.
Although maybe she loses a little bit of time on each one, so who knows?
Dan would love to know, do we know who's behind them, like who the next pack is? Like is Amy Pagic somewhere back there? Do we have any idea, Dan?
We can only see first, second, and third at this point, and Lindsay's a good 3 minutes out. Chris is in second.
Look at that.
Third
Woodsy made
place.
up a little time. This is what Ryan Atkins does not want. This is exactly what Woods did in Jacksonville, where he's not at classic Woodsy running form that we're used to. But the later he hangs into a race, the more he starts to realize, all right, I might be able to pull this thing off anyways.
Right. I got 10 years on this guy, but I'm still in the game.
Yeah, and staying power is the last thing to leave to a runner as he ages. And Woodsy's not old, but he's in his 40s now. And so he may not be running out and leading the first mile every race anymore, but you don't want to be next to him 5-6 miles into a race.
I'm going to say when you're 40 plus, you're old in this sport. Sorry. No disrespect.
I think you're old in on the track or maybe on the roads, but we are not a sport of speed. We're a sport of running power. And that does not leave anytime soon.
I know that we've talked about this a little bit, and that Hobie won the world championship at 38 and 39, but north of 40 is a little bit different, my friend. It's a couple more
certainly.
years.
Yeah, you're on borrowed time, but we've had three of our last 4 world championship winners have been 37 or older.
Looking good there, Robert was, yeah? Long and lean on that obstacle?
Yeah, and he crossed over once or two, which isn't something you do unless you're confident in your grip.
People are putting in their pancake votes here on the right.
Probably. Yep, here comes Chris.
I don't know if do we got a dusty lens, or did the fog descend upon Ohio? I don't know what's going on here.
All right, second and third place women coming into Holy Roller, Matt.
Okay, let's bring you. Okay, wipe that lens off, buddy. Thank you. Is that what this is called? This is called Holy Roller?
Yeah, Teresa said that.
I thought this was inversion therapy.
Oh, look at this.
Ask her if it's inversion therapy.
Teresa, is this called inversion therapy? Holy Roller.
Okay.
Chris just corrected me while she's doing the obstacle.
Tiffany's flying through this one.
Yes. Good job, Tiffany. Good job, ladies.
Oh, you love to see
High-fiving.
it. You love to see it. Did you see that, Bracken?
Yeah. She made up a ton of ground on that one. Some people at home might question what happened at the end there. She went and she kicked the bell, and her feet hit the ground, and then she moved her feet back up and hit the bell again. But it looked like her feet grazed the bell. It hit contact but didn't ring it. So I don't think that was a failure. I think she just didn't make sound, and she wanted to double check that she made sound.
Well, we can watch the replay later, but the ref clearly allowed it. So at this point, it's
it's a mood issue at this point. But just want to make sure Tiffany doesn't get any flack for that. She completed that obstacle. There's just no sound from the bell on the first.
Well, the
kick.
internet will do what the internet does. So we'll see. We'll see. You can't get away from that regardless. So we'll see.
Trying to build her up a defense here.
No, I appreciate you, Bracken. I do appreciate that because it happened really quickly, and I was also looking at what might be happening with the men. So thank you for that. All right, let's see what we got going on here.
They're on one of two runnable, what you would consider flattish sections of the course right now. So Woods is doing his damage on the men's side, trying to take advantage, knowing that Ryan's going to maybe outclimb him, but definitely out-descend him at the end. And Tiffany is going to have her chance to try to create some separation here because it looked like the up and the down she was losing some ground on. So both men's and women's field are trying to take advantage on the one part that might suit them.
Now, we talked about Woods being like, okay, I'm still in this. So is Atkins, do you think he's getting frustrated now? Or is he, now that he's been passed, do you think he's like, all right, I'm going to wait until maybe the last mile and really hit it? What's Atkins thinking?
Typically, I would say Atkins isn't worried. He's raced Ryan enough to know that this is what he does to me on these sections of the race, but this is a grip-based second half course, which I can do a little faster than him, and I'm going to out-descend him on every single descent, so I'm not too worried. But this is where that 1 year of inactivity might start to play into it a little bit, where maybe some of those thoughts and doubts pop in, thinking, man, I'm starting, even this right here, I was supposed to be faster than him on a strength element, and I'm getting tangled up and I'm losing a little bit of ground. That can start to play into it with that year off. And look at this. This is not that big of a gap. Now he's trying to run down two of the best that this sport has ever seen, but he's working hard and he's certainly in range. And again, he can see them.
Yeah, so we got low crawl, anchors away, back scratcher, and battering bird coming up.
And he probably took 3 or 4 seconds on Atkins right there.
So we are definitely going to see the men from the boys situation happening with this next group of obstacles, and we're running out of daylight, right? We're running out of runway.
Yeah, we are. It looks really sunny there. I obviously can't feel it, but the longer that sun beats down, the less condensation there's going to be on obstacles, which negates Atkins' crush power grip that he has. And it gives someone like Woods and potentially Sean the ability to get through something possibly as quick as Ryan would, where on really sloppy wet days, Ryan has the clear advantage over everyone.
It looks like Atkins was reaching for a perhaps some nutrition there.
Yeah,
he's sucking something down.
He takes gels in almost every single race, and he's one of the only people I know that does it without water.
Hey, Lindsay's coming into Mud and Guts here. Switch over.
All right, let's see if we can bring her into the
Great job.
fold. I wonder how annoying this is for Lindsay.
I was just about to say, this is best case scenario for Lindsay. She's out here running a race where she's been alone from minute 1.5 on, and it's real easy to get complacent in that. Not that a world champ necessarily gets complacent the same way we do, but she now just has a string of people to chase down. Doesn't matter that they're not in her division. She has someone to keep her motivated out on course. And this isn't a single track course. If this were something else, it might be a little tougher.
Open these, huh?
But it's so wide across the course here that I don't think she'll get really bound up behind people too much.
We have not seen another woman for many seconds.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Nope,
not quite yet.
Nope.
Until they get up here, I'm going to kick back to the men's. This is the danger point for Ryan Atkins. He has that descending weapon in his back pocket, knowing that I can outrun everyone down a ski hill. But this is where it's dangerous, only having short descents. He can't make up a minute. And right now, Woodsy's probably got 15 to 20 seconds, and he can't let it get much farther away before he's not going to be able to run it back down. Was this Tiffany coming through?
Oh, we lost him. Dan, do you see the next one coming through or no? No, we're gonna go back to the men, I guess. We have Lee on a pretty hill here.
Uphill crawl.
Are we sure? Is that uphill, Lee, or do they go down that hill?
This is an uphill low crawl. It's pretty steep. We got our top 3 about 10, 15 seconds away.
All right.
This is a place Ryan Woods has surprised me. I didn't race him for probably 8 or 9 months. And I came back and raced him at a Savage mat, and he was so fast through the crawls. Now we're late in the race and it's uphill, but you would expect this to be a time where he gives up ground, but he's much more of an aggressive barbed wire crawler than I gave him credit for.
But look how much distance he put on Atkins. Atkins isn't even in the frame. He's halfway through the obstacle.
Yeah, I think Atkins is down in it unless oh no, he's still approaching. Yeah, this is outrageous. Ryan really hit that last uphill hard. And again, Atkins might be running out of time to use that descending weapon.
Wow, I think Woods, we're going to talk to him later. I think Woods is like, okay, it's make or break. I'm just going to do this.
And Atkins is giving it here. You see him doing a bear crawl, getting high in between each wire with his butt.
Yeah, that's kind of his way of doing it. He never stays low, from my recollection.
But if he had thrown in the towel, he wouldn't be moving up and down. He would just be getting through it. He's still going after it, but he's got someone really close, which now, this is crazy to say, but our newcomer here is closer to Ryan than Ryan is to other Ryan.
Do you even see Chris?
Lindsay alone in the field.
Now, you can tell just by looking behind me, Matt, that I'll geek out on shoes. If I saw correctly, Sean there is running in La Sportiva vertical Ks, which is maybe the most obscure mountain running shoe you can come up with. And what that means
is that nobody's told him about anything in OCR related.
No,
yet,
is that like you can't stumble upon that shoe. You have to intentionally go out to find that shoe and buy it. So maybe he spent more time on a mountain than we know. Either that or a buddy of his runs for La Sportiva and gave him a pair of shoes.
All right, hang on. We got. Let's see how quickly Woods does this.
Go, Woodsy. Big swing, big swings.
You can't be faster than that except on the dismount.
Wow.
So he's not going to lose any time there.
Wow. All right, let's stay here, Bo. Let's stay here on the top 3 if we can, please.
Now, Ryan's seen something similar to this at OCR Worlds.
I'm really curious to see how our newcomer does on this. He's coming up right now.
But he's not skipping here. Look at this. If he skips,
he's crossing over. I just think this is a technique issue. First slip from our newcomer. Oh,
hey
wow.
Guys, we got second and third place women just coming out of mud and guts.
Look at he learned some momentum there. He's still crossing over, but
right. Form is not ideal, but he's getting through it.
That's not a typical runner grip and strength there. That's not a sub 4 miler doesn't have the ability to lock off at 90 and learn on the fly on a rig typically.
I'm going to go ahead and say we're looking at one of the future stars. If on first time ever, this is how well he does. I'm saying we got somebody. We real deal.
Yeah, we're bloviating on this guy at this point, but deservedly.
Well, because when he first slipped and his momentum ran out, I thought, okay, this is what always happens. But he recovered well, even with crappy form. You know what I mean? Even with don't do the obstacle that way.
Are you okay?
Tiffany pulled a Amelia Boone there.
Second and third place women.
We see him, Dan. We got you, buddy. I'm just excited. I know
Tiffany's walking now.
That tumble hurt. I wonder how much of a lead she has on fourth.
You just hate to see that.
I know you do. But as we got, what just happened? I wanted to see Logan here. Logan and Zoich.
Now, Logan, just being new to this, didn't start or finish quite as quick as Zoich. Oh, he didn't know he's got to go back and put his rings away. These are those things, right? Your first time doing something like this, you leak seconds here and there because you don't really know.
Right.
And he's an obstacle specialist. He's been on American Ninja Warrior multiple times, but the first time you see something, all the obstacle history in the world doesn't prepare you for the transitions.
I wanted to go back on the women here. Hopping on the same wall. Interesting strategy, Cotton.
It is. I wonder if they were men on all the ones close, and maybe she's only comfortable leading with her right hand.
That's actually probably what happened. But she was walking, but she's still right behind her, even for walking for a good 10, 15 seconds there.
Yeah, but remember, it's like being on a mountain. 10 steps behind here is really 30 seconds, as you're seeing.
Oh, can she run on it? A bit of a grimace there. Rachel C cheering from home.
We've seen our fair share of injuries on course this year, Matt. I'm not saying she has an injury, but
somebody was giving us, I don't know what he's saying here. Oh, just being a lunatic. I thought he was trying to tell us something about her injury.
Almost ran off course.
Just an excited obstacle racer. We love it, buddy. We love it.
Well, she's certainly running strong right now, Chrissy.
I would love an update on the men, though, from Lee.
Yeah, it's Woodsy, Atkins, and Sean.
Gosh darn it. Sorry, team.
That was Chrissy there in second, right, Matt?
Hey, they're coming up right now.
Yes.
Yeah, Woodsy's in full-on attack mode.
Yeah, Woodsy's like, this is it for the finish.
Yeah, when your teeth's in it, he's got his teeth in it right now, and he knows that There's no time left to hold back, and there's nothing. I mean, that's cliche. There's no time left to hold back. But at the end of this race, he trusts his Savage Race experience on the obstacles, and there's nothing to light a fire under you like knowing Ryan Atkins is chasing you down a hill.
Right. So next up, he's got Battering Bird, then Lumberjack. Remember last time they made him go forever on Lumberjack. We'll see how it is today.
That's an aggressive wall, though. Ryan's full on chasing still.
What do we got for Lumberjack this time around, Lee? We got a long one or a short one?
It's a long one. The terrain is not as crazy as it was previously, but it is uphill.
And you would typically say,
I'm loving this, dude. Look at that. I mean, that looked like that was mile 1 for him.
He reminds me of BJ a bit. He's got that. He's got some bounce to him, some lightness in his step. He looks athletic. Woods just failed.
All right, hold there.
Uh-oh.
Woods failed on his first transition. Looks like he'll be fine from here on out, but that's opening the door a little bit. That's another 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Yeah, and we know how strong Atkins finishes, right?
Yeah. The problem Ryan's going to keep running into, though, is that he's transitioning to and from a lot of these obstacles for the first time. So he took back time here, but we'll see what happens a little later.
When you say Ryan, you have to be specific. There's several Ryans.
Yeah, we really need to get some name changes.
more Brackens and Macaulays.
That's right. All right, this is a big test. He's passing it. Okay, that right there. It looks simple, but a one-handed grab on the hanging rope knots.
So let's go up this hill over here.
I'm gonna say it. You were looking at the future of obstacle racing.
Yes, you are.
First Savage, second elite race of any kind, and he's hanging. I definitely want to talk to him, find out his training. Who'd you say? You say he's working with Cadet?
From what I heard, that because he's military. I thought that he had either met up with Gaudet and Killian to do some workouts, or he had touched base with them and they were telling him what to do with workouts. Now, this is a place you would normally say this is Atkins' big chance to get back into it, but Woodsy is probably the most underrated carrier in the sport, especially uphill, and these are just not heavy carries. Strength doesn't matter as much on this one, so Ryan, certainly Atkins could run himself back into it, but Woods doesn't really stand to lose too much time here, other than the descent. Ryan Atkins might be able to cut big into it on the descent, but I don't expect him to take much time uphill.
Yeah, Sean Roberts, for those that are asking, this third place gentleman who I'm calling the future of OCR.
Ryan Atkins really does look strong running uphill with this, though.
Oh, this is like breakfast for him. Oh, I think I'll carry something up a hill today.
That was pretty good. But Woodsy, let's get a time on this. Let's see. As he passes this photographer. All right. Hills are so deceptive because someone might be 30 meters ahead, but that's worth 80 meters, 90 meters on a flat.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, guys.
Great. If this ruins my timing of this, Matt. So we're already at 21 seconds. Looks like 24 second gap right now. Which is an eternity in running and is just a millisecond in our sport. This is an interesting technique. I don't know if I've ever seen this. What he just switched to is what you will normally see is that they'll throw it over one shoulder and descend and be able to windmill their arm for balance and speed. But I had never seen that yoke style carry downhill. Looks like Woods just dropped off. He's done with the carry. Get a clock on this. Matt, one of two things is happening here. Either I'm not live with my audio on the show or you're not. So I'm still talking this entire time.
Hey, buddy.
Are you back now or was I gone?
You were good. Everybody heard you. You were getting a clock on Woodsy. I didn't realize I was gone.
That was 25 seconds on drop off. So it was 24 at the turnaround, 25 on drop off. Those are inexact, but it means that Atkins didn't take anything back from him on that.
So we got Big Cheese, Sawtooth, Colossus, and Wheel World.
Where do you see time for barring?
Guys, here comes Lindsay down to anchors away.
If there's no failure on the men's side right now, where is there time to make up ground on an obstacle like that?
Are you asking rhetorically? I'm just looking at the
No,
map.
I mean that. Do you see an obstacle where there are chunks of seconds to be gained back?
Their only way would be is if we had some mud or some dew on a Sawtooth or you know what I mean, or a Wheel World. Speaking of which.
And it's interesting. We're talking about the next phenomenon of Sean entering our sport, but this obstacle in this race kind of puts into contrast how much Ryan Woods has changed as an athlete since entering this sport. Because how many Spartan or Savages did he lead for a mile or two and then fail stuff like this or struggle on stuff like this? And now he's skipping hand over hand doing obstacles.
Lindsay hasn't seen this in a hot minute.
No, but she is the queen of just matching and keeping her momentum going. She just never gets too high, never gets too low.
Where do I go? She just didn't know where to go. There we go.
That's one that even once you've done it a time or two, unless you keep it in your mind, I have to finish and run backwards. It plays against your natural tendency, which is to hit the end of an obstacle and accelerate. You rarely have to return to start. This is a vintage Ryan Woods performance today.
For sure.
And you know what it reminds me of? This reminds me of late career Hobie. Early career Hobie would go out and set a hot pace from the start, dare anyone to keep up with them and smile the whole time. And late career Hobie would start out with the pack and then move his way up. And then suddenly he'd have a minute lead and no one really understood where it came from. And Woods today was 5th place at the top of the first climb. He's kind of shifted into that role of veteran, and he's doing it pretty seamlessly. You can't do Wheel World faster than that.
I don't think so. I'd say a Brett Favre, a late Brett Favre-esque performance.
Atkins has closed some ground.
Well, was that a downhill or was that flat until we got
downhill and flat, and now that's only a 11 or 12 second gap rather than 25. It's not over, but they're
hang on. Let's get up here to this. Let's get up here to this rig.
And this is where you get a bendy cheese board. This is a tough grab here. That's a big, long gap.
He's got to watch his feet, and he failed.
This is the magic of Savage Race, Matt B. Davis. I start giving him his win. This is vintage Ryan Woods, shades of late career Hobie, and next thing we know, we're back to it.
Look at
this
Atkins.
Must be soaked.
Atkins is taking his time. He's rubbing his hands. They kind of talk to each other there for a second.
Look, it's starting out with that shifting ring set. Oh my goodness.
All right, Woodsy's now going to take a breath. He's watching. He's seeing if that's a better board to go on. And Atkins may have just taken what could be the last lead of the race for the men.
It's wild. Just as we said, there's no time to take. There's no real place to get time back. Ryan Atkins cuts the lead in half on one downhill and flat, and then blows past. And now we're going to see that Ryan Woods is suddenly in trouble for 3rd place. Okay. We're in trouble here.
Robert is in big trouble, it looks like. Nope, I spoke too soon. His momentum looks like it's dead, and then he just kind of keeps going because he's got that length.
This cheese board gap, you have to be, not have to, but you kind of have to be on the top cutout rather than the bottom handhold. That's the handhold it looks like you want, but you got to transfer up to a top grip here because that wingspan is really tough. He got through without it.
Well, again, being whatever this guy is, 6'2", just helped him out a ton.
You know, I would say he's probably only 5'10".
Shut up.
5'11". He's lean. The leaner you are, the taller you look.
Atkins is my height, which is 5'10" and a half. He looks taller than Atkins at the start line.
I'd be shocked if Ryan Atkins is 5'10" and a half.
Do you want me to show you a back-to-back picture of Ryan Atkins and I?
I believe you don't know how tall you are, Matt.
Well, Woods is dropping into third, and I'm going to say that when Robert, I keep calling him Robert. Is his last name Roberts or his first name Robert?
Sean Roberts.
When Sean fell, once again, I thought, oh, well, his form sucks. He's going to fail this obstacle. But he just seems to recover so quickly because he's doing the matching in sort of the wrong way. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He doesn't have the fluidity.
And he's crossed over his body a few times.
Right,
his
that's
momentum,
what I mean. Right, crossing over, which you definitely should not do.
He killed his momentum a few times, but he had that functional strength to be able to just kind of power his way through, which you don't do as a sub 4 minute miler who's in his third OCR race of all time.
Now, if this was wetter, he definitely would have had a harder time. But he's overcoming whatever obstacle he has at it being new and form not being great. Now, Woodsy needs to get through this or he's going to lose the podium.
Right. And at this point, he's been over here for 2 or 3 minutes and he's blown his grip out. If he can't make this transition, he's not getting through anytime soon. So
who do we got? Is this Jay-Z coming up?
Yeah. Zoich coming through, about to steal a podium, unless Lucky Logan might be able to fly through here. But James is long, and this cheese board really rewards length.
So you don't think James is as tall as
I think James is taller than Sean.
Okay, we're gonna
significantly.
We're gonna get a battle of you want to not shoot into the sun, by the way, Lee. You want to come around the other way if you can. Oh, you're in your vehicle, don't worry about it.
Here it is. We're going to have a sprint to the finish. Which Logan's going to win? Oh, but we've got a hoist.
We have 2 Logans?
No.
You said which Logan's going to win?
No, I said there's a sprint to the finish. Which Logan will win? But that was before he got hung up on that last grip section.
Bring it in.
Zoich taking home a third place.
So I didn't realize we were at the bloody finish. Can we get to the finish line? Wait. What just happened? We know Atkins won.
Yep.
We know our newcomer came in second. Robert Blake. What's his name? Sorry.
Sean Roberts.
Sean Roberts.
We believe it's Sean Roberts. And then
Lindsay, a battering bird.
Logan for 4th.
Wow.
What gave up his van?
Woods is going to be a DNF.
Woods is like, F it, I'm out of here. They drove all the way to Ohio for nothing.
And you know, that's going to be a really, really depressing day for him. And yet the takeaway is that for 98% of that race, he was the class of the field. He's not going to want to hear that right now, but.
Was Zoich third or fourth?
Third.
So second is Roberts.
Yes, sir.
All right, Matt, have them stand next to each other.
Go get that photo.
I'm talking for height purposes.
Oh.
Yes, well done.
Go get that first place. Go get that photo.
Sean,
where are you going?
Switch.
How do you feel about it, man?
Out of headphones and into battery for a minute.
What did he just say? Lee, why did he run away from you?
I think he's going to throw up.
I like your style.
Lee.
He's a private person. He doesn't want to be on camera.
Wow.
How are you?
All right.
How are you, JJ?
Good, man. That was the first time in my 5 years of Savage racing. I made moves.
Yeah, dude.
I'm the one getting hunted, so.
Nice. Stayed in the whole time. Crushed it at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
You never know. I mean, there's times where you're fighting up those hills and I was in 5th place a lot of the time, and it would have been easy to just kind of shut it down, but you just got to keep pushing and fighting. You never know what's going to happen.
Way to stick it out, man. Nice work.
Wow. Well, this gets.
How'd you feel about the race?
Well, I felt really good. I missed the pile of logs.
Oh no!
So I was, me and Zook were together, and then I missed him grabbing the logs. I ran part of the way up the hill. Realized he was carrying the log, had to turn around and run back grab it.
Oh, that's where he got you, huh?
So yeah, so he put a little gap on me.
Is he fourth or fifth?
Fourth.
That was a good race, man. You guys are back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, well, the Ohio guys have to represent you, right?
Absolutely.
Logan, by the way, Logan Broadbent.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
we've been calling your name the whole time.
Oh, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Cleveland and
Nice work out here.
See you guys.
All right, I'm going to mute him, Bracken, to say that we have a shy, or not shy would be the wrong word. I don't want to talk to the camera, which I kind of like when guys are kind of like that. Like, you know what? I'm just going to go do my thing. I don't want to talk to you.
We haven't had a Yatsko in the field for a while,
I was
and
going
it's
to say
nice to
another
see it.
Yatso. Exactly.
In a world full of people who can't wait to tell you about themselves, we have someone who wants to take care of business and get out of Dodge.
Exactly. In a world full of hunters, be a Yatsko.
There's a place for both, and I really respect the Yatsko approach.
I respect both. I'm a talker myself, so if we can get some women,
Hold
maybe.
Breaking news: Matt's a talker.
We had Logan. Did you catch what he said there? He missed the start of the log carry and started up the hill.
No.
Yeah, he said he missed this log right here. Maybe he thought it was a pallet or something, and he just went right up the hill, and then he noticed that James was carrying something. He went back down for it. Now, we don't know how long he did that for, but even if it were 2 or 3 seconds, that's the difference between them coming off the rig together and not together.
Yeah.
And so we were robbed of a sprint finish, but at the same time, everyone has the same race brain that happens, and that's one of those obstacles on course.
Yeah, it turned out the rig to be the decider.
Yeah, we're waiting on the women. We're waiting on the women, guys. Sorry, I know everyone wants to know the women. We got both cameras here. Dan, where are we at, buddy?
All right, can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so Lindsay just grabbed her log. She's up in the woods doing her lap. I mean, boy, she's 5-6 minutes ahead of any other female right now.
On paper, this is going to look like business as usual. Atkins showed up. Atkins dominated. No ring rust. No challenge. And that really doesn't tell the tale of this race, does it, Matt?
Well, I'd love to ask you about this, Bracken, because I remember when you had an issue at OCR Worlds and you walked off the course. And I'll be honest, I was very judgmental. Mm-hmm. I thought that's not a way a champion finishes. Why would you do that? You should always finish. And then here we see Woods doing the same thing, who basically says, well, I've lost the podium. There's no money. Why am I going to waste my time in this obstacle? So talk to me. First of all, did you ever regret that, like the next day or a month later?
Instantly. I went back to our hotel that night, our Airbnb, before Airbnb was the thing, VRBO, I believe. And there was a storm online of, I was, justifiably ridiculed by the OCR fan base for giving up and walking off course 50 meters from the finish. There's Lindsay coming in. Business as usual for Lindsay today.
BAU.
And in my mindset at the time was, I'm here at OCR Worlds to win the world championship. And if I slip up, I'm here to be top 2 or 3. And I went into that second to last obstacle in 4th, 3rd in sight, and I failed it 3 times. My grip was gone. It was like 38 degrees and raining. And I thought I can sit here and shiver for pride, or I can make an angry decision to give my band up, walk off course, and I have a team race tomorrow. My brother, John Albin, Ryan Atkins, like, who am I going to let down tomorrow? So I thought I'm going to save my energy and go back after it tomorrow. And at least that's what I told myself. Maybe there was some frustration, I'm taking my ball and going home type thing. But the moment I got home and saw how it was received, I had a ton of regret for that. But at the same time, the pros who are out there to get a paycheck are not there with the same mentality or purpose of the people who are out there for completion or enjoyment. And you can't really compare the two. So no, I don't ever begrudge someone a DNF if they're unable to meet their goal, but I also don't get too caught up if people ridicule those same people because it's a justifiable reaction. Does that make sense?
It's great to hear because, I've learned so much. I'm a regular dude who found this thing like all of us did, but I didn't come from an athletic background, and I've learned a lot. And I didn't hesitate in judging him for a second when I saw that, but I know how I felt about you back then.
Yeah.
But I've learned, the guy's there to win some money. He didn't win any money. It's time to go home. Like, what am I going to do? Who am I proving myself to do a rig? Doesn't mean anything. No,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you never should, because maybe on another day he would, just for funsies. But I'm saying that it's good for the audience to hear what a professional athlete thinks. And at the time, you were in fact a professional athlete.
Yeah. You got Woods and Atkins jogging around the course together.
Well, they're probably rooting for Lindsay, right?
For sure. And that's the thing is you got to take into account someone's background and what their motivation is. At the time, that was, I don't know, my second or third year of OCR, but I had been running competitively for 15 years. And so in the running world, DNFing happens decently often. If you're there to run a PR or to qualify for nationals or to do something big, and if you're not on pace for that, or if you have a cramp or whatever, quite often it's not dishonorable to pull the plug and get back to training. Okay, I can't finish off this and do what I came here to do, so I'm going to cut my losses so I can hit another hard workout on Tuesday.
Right. We see that a lot at, say, the Olympic trials, right?
Yep. Or marathoning, you see it a lot. Someone's looking great for 6 miles. They pull out at 10. They're like, it's not my day, but I'm going to hit another race in 2 weeks. And so with that in your mind, sometimes that's your MO. And in OCR, it's obviously honorable. The status quo is that it's honorable to finish no matter what. And people are applauded for spending hours at an obstacle. But if that's not the way you're wired, you don't even know that's a thing until after you get ripped apart for doing the wrong thing. And then you learn, all right, in this sport, it's not about saving yourself for another week. It's about, completion. So you have to go through it almost once if your background's a little different until you realize, yeah, this sport values a different priority than maybe the road scene or the track scene does.
Well, let's not even call it right or wrong. You threw that word in there, but again, it's different. Everything's different. Every day is different. Every race is different. As we watch Lindsay going through Wheel World here, because Rhea who was very much applauded for taking forever, and she learned a lot from it, and it was a great day. And that can happen too, right? Where she didn't make the podium, but she got this awesome personal victory. But that was that day. It doesn't mean she's better or worse.
No, it's again, we don't know people's motivations. But I will say that the next time I got in that position, I was at a.
Let's see if we can hear the couple here, the power couple.
Isn't this a great place to be at in a race where nothing really matters? You're 7 minutes ahead, so maybe I'll walk for a little bit and dry off before I do this obstacle.
Talk to my hubby.
Okay, so we've seen this before on the women's side, that they run into issues the men don't. Well, the men already ran into issues here. In this gap from that second to third grip on the cheese board, it's a wide span.
All right, now we have Ryan essentially coaching his wife. Do you have a feeling about that? Go on this board, do this. Is that getting help?
For sure it is, but I mean, I think that should be allowable on course. Every sport has coaches allowed. So I don't care. I think that people should be able to run on course and coach people. I think it's fantastic.
Where does assisting a runner stop? Where's the line, Bracken?
Physical assistance.
What about here's a gel?
In my mind, again, you talk about what our personal bias is. Mine's from the track and road scene. I think you should be able to pre-stock your aid station so you don't have to worry about carrying things on course. You can just run when you need your fuel, it's waiting there for you and you get back to racing, because my perspective is always racing. I want to see the best possible race, and I don't want to see that compromised by someone didn't know if they should carry fuel or not for weight. However, I 100% understand how people would say, well, that's a huge part of the off-road scene is learning how to fuel and carry your own fuel. So I won't even bother arguing that because I don't care too heavily about it. What I do think is interesting is that all of these cheese boards are the same. There is no difference in the cutout, and every woman's going to have to make that same gap from that second grip to the third on that bendy cheese board. She's going to have to, you see Woods is getting back on there to try to get through this thing. You see that far lane?
But did he already turn in his chip? Because I called him a DNF on here. Did he already?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was out running around with them. This is him either for personally, I'm going to get through this, or for next time, I need to be able to do this. So well, Lindsay's going to have to get to the very top of this thing.
Question, though. In the past, these cheese boards didn't change. Just the order of ropes to rings to whatever changed. So the athletes didn't struggle on this. They struggled on transitions to other things. Is this a new cheese board, Lee?
Well, previously it was facing the other direction. So the third hold was actually lower than the second one instead of the higher. And also we put a slight incline on it.
Yeah, the way this grip is set up now, going the opposite direction, that gap is so big, and then you hit, the higher you are at the top, the more this thing wants to bend on you.
Well, we're all having fun here, but this could, if she waits long enough, right?
Yeah, she might have the exact opposite thing, but on a magnified scale that Ryan had happen to him.
Chrissy might pass her.
At this point, her very best bet is to sit down for 2 or 3 minutes and watch the guys go through and figure out what board is the driest and what technique got us through. And Ryan's right. When you put all your weight on one side, you're at the mercy of the bending of the board. The problem with this one is that with the grips so spread out like this, it's going to be really hard for them to get their hand on either side when they have short arms. She could do it, but it's really, really difficult. She's going to the lock-off chicken wing, which...
Yeah! Nice job.
So going with what Ryan Kempson said there, I think if she gets her left hand on the low one, moves her right hand up on the opposite side to that top cutout, and then swings herself forward to the opposite side with her left hand, that's going to be her path through.
I think Ryan's going to show her how it's done here. Is he going to try the both sides thing?
I mean, he's a smart guy, but it's different because his arms are 8 inches longer than hers.
I will
work a chicken wing.
I will fight to the death that Ryan and I are both 5'10" and a half.
Maybe. I've met 2 people in the last week who, as adults, realized they were 2 inches different in height than they thought they were when they went to get their driver's license. I just have a firm belief that most people don't know how tall they are. I'm not saying
this is a massive lead. I mean, we still don't see second.
Yeah. And this is where that frustration and that decision to walk off course would come into play to someone who came over here for one reason. I mean, maybe they came out to knock some rust off, but you drive all this way. They're living out of their van right now since they're down from Canada.
And see if they've had second place yet?
And then, sure, why not? Why don't I just get out of here because I'm frustrated and pissed at life?
I can't see Lindsay doing that.
No, I can't either. But to me, it's understandable why people would. And think of the average person. If you, let's say that just the random age grouper is out here on course and got stuck on this.
Hang on. Looks like she's made a distinction here. She's got to this final hole on the board.
It's a tricky.
But she's run out of momentum.
Oh, now she's good.
Is she, though?
Yeah, she's locked into 2 now. All she has to do is get through she can chicken wing to the finish if she wants.
All right, Lee, let's stay here, though, after she goes in because she's got to catch her breath anyway, and I want to see the second and third place women come through here, if you wouldn't mind. Or Dan, whoever's here right now, actually. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, Dan's at the rig. I'm trying to find second place.
Yeah. Dan, stay here, by the way, after she goes through. We'll assume she can pass.
This is it right here.
Come on, Lindsay.
She's got a chicken wing. Yeah. Oh, no.
God, those BJs are just inches away off the ground. All right, but at least she's got the formula now. Now she's got the formula.
So now she's got to take time, and this is where she's got to be at this point, running out of time. But
second and third emails have come through Sawtooth.
Copy.
Matt, this is what I referred back to when I
Yeah,
was starting to talk about.
We heard that, Lee. They're at Sawtooth, or they're through Sawtooth. We heard that.
Copy.
I was starting to talk about when I went to a Battle Frog after having that OCR Worlds failure where I walked off course.
Right.
And I got to the very last obstacle, and my grip was blown out, and I couldn't get through it. And I was in second, and then I was in third, and eventually I got through, and I was in like 12th or 14th place. But it took me about 20 minutes, and I decided I'm not going through that again. For maybe just for public image alone, I'm not going to drop. But what it made me do is it made me figure out how to get through obstacles when I was totally blown out and using different technique. And I don't know if Lindsay's ever been totally blown out grip in a race like this. And maybe this is she takes something out of this just by trying this over and over, that the next time she gets to a really nasty place in a race, she has one more technique in her bag of tricks.
Guys, Chris is coming in.
You mean Chrissy?
Bring it.
Yeah. Tiffany Palmer, if her leg is held up and she's still running on course, is in position to do the exact same thing that she did in Dallas.
Looking good.
Was that Dallas or Maryland, Matt, where she came in after running in second and third all race and just snuck through and won?
That was I think the second race of the year. We got to clear lanes here. Yeah, we got to clear lanes for the women.
Copy.
She would be best served. I mean, maybe she's going to make me eat my words, but to watch one round of a guy going through, because I don't think anyone's prepared for this big, long reach up here. Although she's prepping with some momentum. Look at this. She has two sticking points left. Here's one.
Look how good she is at quickly getting into that momentum, though.
Oh, I've never seen using the rope on this.
It's instead of the middle.
That looks way worse to me.
All right. So
that looks way worse. Did she just give Lindsay the blueprint? Up, Tiff's up here. Tiffany made it up. And Tiffany has not started yet. She's taken the wait and see approach.
All right, so everybody's catching their breath. Can we clear some lanes for the women? Where's we need a Savage employee to clear some lanes, or maybe they're actually the men are being smart. The men are letting them go.
No, the left 3 lanes are female only.
Okay, good. So Tiffany's going through in her first try.
If I had a prediction, it's that if Tiffany gets past this one grip, she makes it through.
Because
she's always compact and tight on these rigs, and she seems to think her way through rigs really well. She has one transition to make. If she makes this, she's through. Yeah. These women are all trying to avoid that. What do we call that? That one little twirly bird sitting on there?
We're holding these 3 lanes for female.
And I think that's what both she and Chrissy are going to do differently this time. I think that if I were them, I'd be trying to grab that hanging band there as support for my transition rather than trying to skip it.
Right. Now the last time around, this is where Tiffany Cedeno came in, sitting in 4th or 5th all day. It was taking forever, came through, knocked it out, found herself on the podium. But first place is still up for grabs for this race, though. That was a way to get second.
Yeah. That green hanging piece is going to be the deciding factor.
Okay, well, here comes Amy. Amy is, in fact, an American Ninja Warrior contestant, known for her obstacle skills. Podium the very first OCR World Championships. She's not catching her breath at all. She's just going for it. Could this be Amy's day?
This first time through seems to trick everyone, but she might have the best grip and lock-off strength out of the field. Tiffany realizes the urgency here. See this transition right here. She didn't hesitate on. She went right to that hanging greenish blue band, and that's the difference here.
Amy Magic Pagic is going to steal this race, Ryan. Bracken.
Well, thanks, Josh.
Dan,
And this is the
stay
crazy
with
part. That didn't even look difficult. When people get it and they have their momentum all the way through, it looks so simple. And it's obviously not.
Tiffany Palmer coming up on chain.
Tiffany Palmer made her way through.
Yes.
Yeah, she learned that rig on her first one. This is her chance to catch. She's walking up. It just shows how much a mountain course like this.
Did she get it? Did she get it?
A mountain course like this just beats you down so much.
Wow. Well, we didn't see her all day, and here she is taking the victory, Bracken. That's what obstacle racing is like.
This is it. That's wild. That's
We'll let her catch her breath, Dan, and then we'll go talk to her. But just give her a few seconds, okay, buddy? Or whoever that is. Yeah, that's Dan. Just don't approach her yet. Is Tiffany in second though? Turn the camera around, please. We don't need to watch her walk away.
Yeah,
that's an
Tiffany's
unbelievable turn of events. Now, Tiffany's fortunate that she only took 2 tries to get through this because she still has her grip semi-intact here.
Here comes Tiffany.
But now with this new heavy chain, let's say Lindsay or someone gets it here, they still have to get that chain up in the air, which is the only hoist, I think, in the history of OCR that's been difficult for the women in probably more difficult, definitely more difficult than it is for the men, weight-wise.
Well, I love what Savage has drawn us this year, which is a rig towards the end of the race that decides it. I kind of love it.
Tiffany Palmer pulling it out once again. She's just so competent on obstacles, and she's competent on the runs in between. The question now is, how bad is her leg from that fall she took?
So let's go back up here. So now we've got, looks like Meg made her way up to it. So the story of the day, in first, Ryan Woods, DNF from several attempts at this rig. Lindsay Webster was in first, has lost first and second, might lose third. That's the story of the day. Meg, also very good on obstacles, might find herself on the podium today.
Matt, we just can't get away from this debate.
Can we?
We can't, because this justifies both sides of the coin's argument. One side is going to say...
How does it make both sides?
Well, because the side that says we need obstacle completion is saying, this is why, look at this. This gives people, everyone, a chance to win. And it doesn't matter how fast you run ahead or how well you descend. You've got to be able to do every piece of it. And that they're absolutely right. And the other side's going to be saying, we're watching people stand still. Both sides are correct. And this is, I think it's why our sport is so special, is that whatever your taste is, there's a version of that race for you out there.
It's kind of like we want something magical. Like we don't want them to fail the 12th time, right? We want it to be like the second or third attempt so we can see a lead change, but we don't usually see that. We either see you make it or you're sitting here all day figuring it out.
Yeah, it's you want there to be drama and you want there to be no guarantees. And the downside is that means it's paired with grip strength, and there's a finite amount of that in every human body, and it doesn't come back quickly. So even though these women and these men who are stuck over there are learning every single time through.
No, you can't do that, can you?
Can't do that. It was a good idea, but they're learning every time through, but their grip is just so diminished each time. So again, I'm done making statements on it, but this justifies both sides of that argument. It's anybody's race.
And all he did was turn around the stupid cheese board.
Yeah. Yep. Look at the difference though. How many, the amount of cutouts on the top, 2 versus, and where they're located, is just less stable now.
Can we get a shot? Where are the women on this board, on this obstacle? Lee? Or Dan, actually. Where's Lindsay? Here's Meg.
All right. So every other female is right there. You can see, if you switch to my camera, you can see Lindsay and Chrissy are still waiting.
All right, she's got it. If she can make this, don't try skipping it. Oh,
Saved it.
it's so alluring to try to skip that handle, but that handle is the saving grace.
Here we go.
All right, trying to yell in my ear, Dan.
Sorry.
Even though she made that transition without the help of the green, she hit it in a dead hang. And when your grip's gone and now you have to climb uphill up that ladder, it's really, really difficult without momentum. I mean, she's given it and she might pull it off, but there's just, once you're dead hanging and no momentum and your grip's fried, you're just out of luck. And I guarantee every single one of these women, if the race got restarted, could get through on the first try. Now that they know the technique, if they had their grip back to how it was the first time they came up to
Right.
this.
Well, Lindsay's waiting. Lindsay's going to wait now a while.
This is the catch-22. You come into the rig with your best grip and no experience on how that one plays today. And so you have to use your best grip when you have your least experience. And in order to get experience on the rig, you also have to blow out your grip to some extent.
Well, I believe I'm going to let you take the reins. I'm going to grab a coffee because we've taken a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, I'm going to get a lunch order coming up here soon.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being honest here.
No, you're not wrong. This is a lengthy process, and suddenly, again, the race gets paused. And now it's a competition of wits and who can recover their grip and who's going to come up with the best strategy. And it turns into a strategy and a waiting game. And then hopefully at some point they all get it and then the race is back on.
Right. Except this is the end of the race. So this is pretty much it. All right. I'm going to grab a coffee. I'll be right back.
All right. But we don't have a third across the finish line yet. So this is kind of wild. And you see even the guys over here who have the longer wingspan, they're all struggling with the lack of stability and rigidity on that cheese board. A savage race, whoever's on the cam here, with the material that we have here, is this something that's loosening over time? Is that why it's getting more and more bendy each race? Or is it just simply the different style of anchoring and the way it's flipped and oriented this time?
It is not losing strength. It's orientation and also how far the anchors are away from the board itself.
Okay. No, and I didn't mean to imply losing strength, but I didn't know if it was something that just becomes, as you break it in, gets a little bit more flexible over time.
No, we haven't found it to be more flexible. We try to keep the tension the same or more, and not get looser and looser.
So what did you do with the anchors and the supports this time? Are they wider than usual?
Well, this time we actually set the width the same as we did in Maryland. But what we did on the entrance side is we put an extra 4 chain links on the chain. So the entrance side is 4 chain links lower.
See, and that's crazy how you can take the exact same obstacle and you simply mess with your anchor points and you have a totally different rig here. So in theory, you could have a easy and a hard lane if you wanted just by changing the anchor a little bit.
I need Rover. Double check on Will too, see if he needs anything. Check water stations, check safety.
Well, Lindsay has a foot up on the bar and she's shaking her hands. Are we about to see another attempt here? She's waited a while. No, she's back. She's just stretching out. See a gentleman on the left giving up a band. Oh, both women are starting at the same time. It looks like they said, all right, let's do this together. Which I think is smart. If you're competing and friends at the same time, you might as well both start this at the same time. And then we can try to finish together rather than just whoever gets through first automatically has the win. But maybe they weren't doing that anyway since Lindsay didn't hop on.
Hey, so Bracken, we've had such an exciting season. I don't think we've had a similar female podium for any of these Savage races. They don't have a point system. I think I'm going to make one up and see how people are doing for the year. What do you think?
I support that.
Just a super basic one, like a 10-point system.
Just cross country style, 1 point for first.
Yeah. Lowest score wins.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Lindsay's committing for the first time. My guess is she's either done or she takes one more try.
Wait a minute, my note is not caught up here. I thought I updated my note here. So let's see. So now we've got Amy Pagic for the win. Did PAJCIC?
Yep.
And Tiffany Palmer second.
Tiffany Palmer second. Third TBD. Now, how long, Savage, how long will you allow this to go on? Are they allowed to continue until the event closes if they want?
It's a great question.
I mean that seriously.
I'm asking Lee. Lee, what do you think? Lee would have to
Sorry,
unmute
one more
himself.
time, Matt.
Is there a time cutoff, or can they go until the event closes?
It's a 2-hour time cutoff.
2 hour, okay.
Because from the start of the race?
Yes, from when they leave the corral.
So if no woman finished this, you're not going to give a non-completer a third place.
Well, I'd have to consult the rest of my team, but I don't believe so.
Because I've seen you do that for age group, which I disagree with. You give just the first 3 finishers in the age group. I think if there's no band and there's no finisher, that's fine. But obviously for elite, I think that definitely shouldn't happen.
I agree.
All right, Lee, as long as we're playing the theoretical game, let's say this was like in Maryland where Ken Corigliano was there but not racing. If he were watching this race now and he were Rachel instead, so he were female, would he be able to, if he had already purchased a band and had decided in a timing ship, decided not to race, could he go cross the start line and go through the course and try to make it through this rig and podium?
Well, technically, no. You're only allowed to shoot for the money if you're in the 8 or 805 wave.
Okay.
Like spend all day catching up to them. Like just I see the men are failing. I'm going to drive all the way to Ohio and see if I can come in. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Ken was at the venue last time but wasn't racing. So I didn't know if someone in the crowd could be like, man, this is wild. And I already do have an extra elite timing chip I have. Let's just go start the course. You could walk through the course and make it through it. Come in under the 2-hour time cap.
I don't know how many minutes we've been at, but yes, I'm going to say this is the no longer exciting for the viewer point, right? Where we're just standing. Not ideal, guys.
It's going to be fun for whoever takes third.
Absolutely.
They're going to get their money. They're going to get their prize. That's awesome. But
I'll tell you what.
The luster's off.
I'll try to reduce the difficulty by about 5 to 8%, so that we can get a top 3.
No, buddy, you're fine. No, don't change a thing.
We're not complaining. We're just saying it's now reached that point,
right?
In terms of the atmosphere of the race,
right?
You had a woman go through on her first attempt,
right?
Nailed it.
And if you have this exact same rig next race, all of these women will get through on their first or second attempt.
But he won't. They'll change it, which is why I kind of love it.
Right. So I'm saying you could even make it 8% harder next week, and these same women would get through. It's just that first time seeing it is nasty at the end of a race. That's not Lindsay.
I saw Lindsay briefly contemplating grabbing her band and maybe taking the Velcro off, but then she decided against it.
As soon as one more woman gets through for third place, you're going to see a lot of bands come off. But right now, it's like you're saying there's still a chance.
Jasveer Grawal says this event shows everything that's wrong with Spartan. And then Lawrence says, like what? Well, we just had this whole argument, guys. Tune in. We just had the whole argument.
And you know what, Matt? Like I said, I understand both sides. The great things about this sport, and I'll say it again, I'll repeat myself, is that both sides get what they want. If you want this, you get to do this. And if you don't want this, there's a whole nother race option out there. And so everyone gets to do exactly what they want, where most other sports, the rules are the rules, the venues are the venues, the confines of the game are the confines of the game. And that's what you're stuck with. But this sport, there's a ton of options.
Hey, Dan, let's unmute real quick. I want to hear Lindsay. Let's unmute real quick, Dan. Unmute. There we go.
Yeah, that's my good.
Yeah, like if you have to do a chin up and just hook it on.
Yeah.
I think that's our lunatic friend from earlier.
Yeah, he had a lot more energy.
And then the ladder, like I think
Lindsay kind of being, who she is. I think she'll stay till she finishes. I mean, don't you think?
I don't know. My guess is she stays until she makes it or third place makes it. And then I think she'll give up the band and go get some food. And then I think she'll come back and try to make it through, kind of like how Woods did later on, just to get through it for the day. But she knows at this point the only thing that'll get through is to take time.
Did somebody get it? Did the woman get it?
Not a female.
Okay.
At this point, we're hearing cheering for anyone.
Cheering for anybody at this point. The morale over here is.
Can you ask Lindsay? Is she holding her band? Is she leaving?
No, it's her watch.
She can hear you if you want.
Hey, Lindsay.
She's got her watch and her heart rate monitor.
It's Matt and Bracken. It's Matt and Bracken.
I can't hear you.
It's Bracken.
Oh, is it? Hey, Bracken. Here I am. I had a good lead for a while. But it's fine. This is my bouldering problem now. Like pretending I'm in a bouldering gym. So.
Okay. Well, Matt, maybe you're right. Maybe she stays here until she gets her line.
I mean,
she's. You're gonna just stay until you.
Well, I mean.
Until you can.
It's half an hour until 2 hours. So like.
Is that what it is? Okay, good. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
She's gonna go until the time runs out.
It is. It's beautiful today.
I mean, she's still smiling. I mean, she's pissed. I mean, but she's having a good time.
It's a good mindset.
She's also accomplished so much. You know what I mean? I think that probably weighs into it, don't you think, Bracken?
Again, I think there's two sides to that. You have someone like Lindsay. I think it comes down to personality. She's accomplished a ton, and she has like her sense of being's not tied to this. You'd have other people. But there are other people who are world champs who've accomplished a ton who ego-wise would not be able to take something like this and would be long gone already and already online complaining about the race. And again, I get both sides. It's your personality dictates how you handle this type of situation.
Why has Megan run out of so much gas when she gets to that point?
Because her grip's already gone. It's taken everything they have to get to the cheese, to the end, and now they have to go uphill. You look here, normally you would just pull up and go, but like their biceps are smoked, their hands are smoked. I think at this point, chicken winging is the only way to get through that.
Yeah, so third place is either going to be who is that?
I think third place is going to be someone who hasn't reached it yet.
That's what I'm saying. It's either going to be Meg, Lindsay, or some fresh-faced gal who had no clue.
Hey guys, switch over to me. I've got an interview for you.
Sure.
So how does this rig treat you?
Hey guys, this rig actually wasn't too bad, but I've been doing a lot of training for American Ninja Warrior, so I felt pretty well prepared for this one. It was just the hills were killing my back out there, and I missed the log. I didn't see the big pile of logs, the most obvious thing. I ran halfway up the hill, had to turn around, come back, grab the log, and so Zook and I were running together, and then he put a nice gap on me. I tried to close it at the end, but didn't have quite enough time. But it was an awesome course, really fun.
I get on the first hole.
Oh, yeah, this thing is taking souls today.
This is I feel bad for the females right now.
I know. It's really Amy Patchett, give her credit. She's a great rock climber, and I feel like if you've been putting time in the rock climbing gym or anything related, you're gonna have a big advantage here. Just like most Savage races, right? Their rigs are pretty tough. So, that's what it's all about: technique and just that grip strength, that grip endurance.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to hear firsthand from someone who witnessed it what it was like watching Sean learn on course and what they think his trajectory is going to be.
Did you hear that question?
Watching Sean learn on course. Was he trying to figure it out as he went, or did he know?
It looked like his first downhill, he didn't quite know it. And then the second downhill, he figured out how to attack. And it's your first time racing him. What was your take on him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's going to be a legitimate contender. I mean, there's no question. I mean, he was today. You know, I think he took the first downhill a little bit conservatively, and then he learned to push and close the gaps on those, and he just went all out.
We were in the cheer.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so he's gonna. Yeah, it was really impressive out here. I love to see some new blood out here making moves for sure.
Can you you can, if you take your headphones out there, Dan, we can talk. I want to talk to Atkins real quick.
Yeah, I can hear him pretty well.
Yeah, my earphones are out, Matt. He's using the camera. Let me switch to the other so he can actually see you guys.
Okay, talk. Yeah, move over to Atkins there. I want to talk to old Atkins.
Okay.
Nice. The log. I already had to run back down the hill to grab the log.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys. What's up?
How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel like that was a shock to the system. I haven't breathed that hard in a while.
Did you we were kind of curious at mile 5-6 when Woodsy was really putting it down where your head was at.
Where my head was at?
Yeah, mile say 5-6 when Woodsy was like kind of giving it his all and it looked like he was gonna run away with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, well, this is my first race of the year. See how this goes. This is, yeah, felt like a little rusty, but the obstacles went well and felt pretty good for the first part.
Had you done? I got one more. Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Bracken.
Had you done anything specific for this, or is this just running this basically off the what you've been doing for fun?
Yeah, just off funsies.
Yeah.
I did the fast run on Wednesday or something.
Oh, then you're set.
Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, cheers, guys.
I told you that I could have done that for you. If you said, Matt, what's Ryan going to say? Oh, it wasn't that hard. I don't know. A little rusty. No big deal.
I didn't know if maybe with Hildervat coming up, I don't know if we're allowed to say the H word on here, if he had been doing there's so much, you know, all the money they're putting on it and all that promotion, if he had been doing some obstacle specific work, but no, he's just living his life the way he wants to live it.
Yeah. Who is this coming out of nowhere? Find out after she finishes who this is.
This side of the rope thing, it makes sense from you don't have to pull up in the air, but you lose so much ground. And it's so hard on your fingers.
Could we have a dark third place? Could we have a dark podium spot? Unheard of.
Look at this. Lindsay's not even watching the race.
Can you ask her name real quick? Go back, Dan. Ask that gal's name, the one that just spilled the rig. Dan is not listening to me because his headphones are out.
Say that again, Matt.
I said, who was that third place? Who was that woman that just tried the rig for the first time? It was her. It looked like the first time.
Number 302.
Yeah, go ask her what her name is.
Okay. Hi. What's your name? Lindsay. Lindsay what? Where are you from? All right. Yes, 40. You got a lot of 40-year-olds cheering for you. So tell us what you think of this rig.
I mean, it's doable. You gotta find the board that bends the way you want it to bend. But once you're past the cheese, you're not done. Because I didn't realize the rope ladder, if you pull one side down, I mean, the whole thing moves.
Yeah.
So that's really tough too, but almost. Really.
All right, thanks. Let her go do her thing. Bracken,
Matt's got a question for you. Go ahead, Matt.
No, we're good. We're good. Just let her go back to racing.
Well, congrats. Go get this thing. I think third place is still available. Okay.
Bracken, should we stay here for 20 minutes? Should we call it a day and let people know on Instagram who came in third? What do you think?
Listen, I feel like we're pot committed at this point.
Okay.
At this point, the people have stuck around for an hour and 39 minutes.
Hey, do you want Ryan Woods? He's right here.
Yeah, let's keep chatting our way through things and turn away if anything spicy happens in the background.
Okay, good idea.
All right.
If
do
he
you need
wants
just
to
double
talk.
coverage, or can you survive with just Dan?
No, we need a shot of the race going on for sure.
All right, that's no problem at all.
All right, thank you.
Ryan, you want to talk?
You could probably set a camera up though and just put it on the rig and hold it there for the next 20 minutes.
Okay, that's a no on Woodsy.
Oh, you just want to talk to Matt and Bracken? Ask him to talk to Matt and Bracken.
No, I get it. I'm not going to push on that.
I am. He doesn't know it's me. He thinks it's you. He doesn't know you, Dan. He's like, I'm not talking to you, Dan.
Fine, I'll try again.
Listen, he just had a heartbreaking, demoralizing race. I wouldn't want to talk to you either.
Right, no, he's headed back to the truck.
All right.
Where's the bucket?
I will bust his chops later.
It's tough. You know, the everyday person probably doesn't care too much about the gripes of the top end of the sport, but if you're looking at $1,000 for a win, probably at least matching that in sponsor bonus money. It's not just a kick of the gut, it's a kick to the bank account as well.
Lindsay, take the other side of the cheese. Other side.
That's a phrase you just don't hear too often in sport.
Well, we are definitely the band's argument will definitely take a turn for sure if there's no third place.
You know what? It won't. This is like convincing people Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, you're not going to change minds, you saying?
No, you're just going to cement people in their beliefs. And I think the best compromise you can make is that there's certainly a place for both, and Savage is putting on fantastic races this year. Oh.
Hey, Matt, did you catch that?
No. What did we miss?
Lindsay just put her band in the bucket and moved on.
Okay. So now Chrissy McFarland.
She should go. I mean, if she's got hand grip left, that's great.
Hang on.
Oh, kick it. Just kick it.
Yeah!
Now everyone's going home.
Just when you give up hope.
I bet you watch a mass exodus there behind her. Everyone's going to drop the bands in the bucket if she gets this up.
There we go.
And this is why we need the point system. Chrissy would shoot to the top, I think.
Chrissy,
She's not done though.
Nope.
got this, girl. You got this.
Uh-oh.
That's not ideal.
I was about to change the graphic. I can't change it yet.
Well, she has 16 and a half minutes to get this chain to the top.
Or if somebody else comes behind her on the rig.
You have your band still? Yeah. You better get that goddamn chain up in there.
Somebody doing their Matt B. Davis impression. That sounds like me yelling at somebody.
That was Logan right there. All right, at this point, if she gets it here, I mean, she's earned this. If she doesn't get this, put it down and wait until someone runs up to
here. For sure. Just chill out.
Yeah, take 10 seconds in between every pull and then step on it and just stand there for 10 seconds. There's no point in blowing your grip out more.
Right.
Like the race has left the building. At this point, it's survival. So it doesn't have to be pretty. Now we win ugly.
All right, I'm going back to my old graphic of Battle for Third still on. I was about to change it, but just leave it there. Just rest. Hurry.
This at this point is no different than the rig. You didn't have any rush for the rig. There's going to be no rush on this.
I know, but she keeps going back to it.
I know. I guess I'm speaking to her. The longer you strain on this, the less likely you are to get it up. And maybe she'll prove us wrong, but put it down, You have 15 and a half minutes, rest for 13. The thing is, once your pull strength is gone, it doesn't matter. And nothing else matters. You can't even lay back into it hard because your grip can't support your body holding onto that rope.
Because the ladies aren't telling her just to wait.
Give it a pull and step on it. Give it a pull and step on it.
Don't give it a pull. Chill out.
Yeah.
But wait, here we go.
Is there a band there?
Our 40. Yeah, that's our 40.
I don't know if they finished the rig though, guys.
Ask her.
No,
Ask her.
she doesn't have her band.
Oh, there goes Chris. Chris has a foot to go.
Yeah. But this chain, anyone who's ever lifted with a chain on the bar knows that every link that goes higher, it gets heavier. So she's at her most depleted when she's 1 foot from the top, and that's just torture. There's 13 and a half minutes.
I don't
Rest
know if
for 11.
If she doesn't have her band, I honestly don't even need to see her do it because she's not. This is our 41-year-old friend. Whose also name is Lindsay. If she doesn't have her band, then she can't make the podium.
She was playing Twister on the ground with the rope for a minute there. She
Looks
has it
like she's
wrapped
wearing-
around her
looks like she's
thigh.
wearing her band to me.
Watch your leg.
Yeah.
Did you get the rig?
Huh?
Did you get the rig? Okay.
Okay, yeah. So she's not. So let's just
All
go
right,
back to Chrissy.
No, guys, she didn't get the rig. Now here's the other Lindsay.
Oh wait, who we got here?
Come on.
Did she
Lindsay.
make it?
Did you get the rig? Okay.
She ran up like she made the rig.
Lindsay,
Yeah,
did
there
you
has
get the
been
rig?
no fourth place
No,
female.
Okay.
Dark podium spot, Brock.
All right, we're still
a
cheering.
dark podium spot.
Yeah, Masters. There we go.
Listen, it is Chrissy's to lose if she just
I know.
sits on her butt. You do the exact opposite of every part of your being wants you to do. You just
She's getting
sit
motivation
down
right now.
and wait.
Chrissy, you got Matt and Bracken cheering for you.
Tell her don't try it.
They're both saying take every minute you can until your time runs out. Rest your wrist, rest your body.
I feel like we're cheating now, helping her out.
Cheering for you.
And she gets that extra 5 minutes because they started 5 minutes behind, right? She goes till 10:05.
I believe it's 2 hours from 8:05, which would be 10:05.
Okay, so I was wrong. She has an extra 5 minutes than what I was calculating. She has 18 minutes.
Chrissy, they said there's 2 million live viewers cheering for you. Or give or take 2 million. And Killian just put in a note that he says this reminds him of a rig that he went through too. Like, we're all cheering for you. Thank you. You got this.
Can we get an interview with that baby, please?
That baby is riding real low on that carrier.
You want a close up of the baby?
That thing is stretching the weight requirements of that baby Bjorn.
Look at that!
That is a hefty baby. I like that.
Love it. Love a chunky baby.
You looked at me to read. I was like, keep going.
Yeah, I stopped. I took my breath, and I'm like.
Tiffany's getting used to this. She's getting into a rhythm where I know when I finish, I got to get my jacket on because it's going to be another hour.
Does shaking the hands actually work, Bracken, or is it just mental?
Well, blood flow is what works. So if that's what works, you do it. Otherwise, you can get your hands up in the air and have someone massage your arms, but you can't really do that in OCR. Let's get over and talk with Tiffany. Let's find out about her leg from when she fell.
Good idea.
Oh, Tiff? Yeah, I asked.
Matt, you still need anybody?
So how do your legs feel?
The left one, I don't.
Now you can take off, Lee.
Jacked up, but the right one's good.
Because you were actually live when you fell,
Yeah.
so they all saw it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well,
of course I was.
Is it a bruise or did it twist?
It's kind of like a little rash, and then I jacked my knee up a little bit on my shin, but
And you said it took you a good 10 minutes to work it back
felt
out?
like a mile and a half just to get that left leg moving like it should. Yeah, it was awesome.
This was the day to have that happen, though.
What do you say?
He said this is the day to have it
For
happen.
sure. Yeah.
Because then you ended up smoking that. Maybe you saved a little energy.
Yeah, that's true. Got to walk it off a little bit.
Little bit?
Yeah. That was definitely the hardest rig that they've had so far. So
Really?
That's good. Yeah.
Is it too hard?
No.
No. Nice.
We need it. We need it because then everybody goes home and practices, which is good.
That's because they've been spending time talking about that too. About is it too
it's
hard
good.
or not?
I think it's nice that we finally have a challenge. So.
Good.
I mean, that's what we were talking about. Me and Lindsay. It's just like you don't really have to get a lot of grip strength anymore. Like Spartan, it's the typical. You go through the rings. It's just how fast you can get through it. But this, you actually have to practice. It's nice.
Now, do you think the chain is too heavy?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I mean, I got it. So no.
Yes.
But it is really it's really heavy. It's definitely the hardest hoist. So that back to back is brutal.
It's killer.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's getting some tips there.
Yep.
Everybody,
I like the rowing machine technique here.
Everybody,
all you have to do is go back in time and undo all the damage your fingers and forearms took over the last 45 minutes, and you're set.
Right? Everybody at the chain getting tipsy.
14 minutes to go. She still has at least 10 minutes she can rest for.
Let's hope the battery lasts 14 minutes, Bracken.
Wouldn't that be the killer?
Well, listen, while we have a few moments here, we'll let everybody know. Let's say you're new to the feed here. You're new to the world. If you enjoy obstacle racing content such as this, you can listen to the Obstacle Racing Media podcast every week. And my co-host here has his own program called The Running Public, which you can hear, twice a week?
Twice a week. Every Tuesday, we talk about one singular training topic. And then on Fridays, we do a long interview with an athlete, a coach, or an industry professional.
Now, this week, you have a UK guest that not a lot of Americans know. I know who she is. Tell everybody about Natasha.
Natasha Manzel is kind of like the every woman of our sport. She found running at 29 years old, kind of gives hope to everyone who's not growing up a runner, who doesn't have the high school and college background, that you can still do it, have fun with it, and be better. And she went through a whole host of medical and developmental issues, and she's still out there doing her thing and excelling at it. So if you're looking for motivation for what your why is and the right mentality to have in training, Natasha's one to listen to.
And on the Obstacle Racing Media podcast, you might hear an interview with a professional athlete, such as an Atkins or a Woods, or you might hear us talk about cryptomania, as we did earlier this week. If you want to learn about Bitcoin, hop on the ORM podcast.
You know, I think if you can capture that Bitcoin market, Matt, your subscribers are going to skyrocket.
Well, I don't want the Bitcoin market. I want the OCR Bitcoin market. It's very narrow.
It's a niche, but you could fill it.
Shoot small, aim small. What is it?
I think you nailed it.
I'm like a box of chocolates, man. You never know what you're going to get. Tamara's asking, did Lindsay make it through? And the answer is no, she gave it up. Craig's a fan of the crypto episode. Craig, did you buy any doggy coin?
Yes. Yeah. I got that one.
Come on, Chrissy. Let's make this happen. I do not want to see an empty third place podium spot. I really don't.
Matt, I'm out of liquid.
Do you want to take a break? You may do that.
No, I'm here. Listen, we have 11 minutes left. I am here till the bitter end.
I don't know how far your sink is away, but
sink is 2 furlongs.
All right. Well, here's me. I've got this going on.
You make it through the rig?
And I got this going on. What I got going on? Coffee and buble.
Buble.
I have to keep asking. You know.
I commit, Chris. Come on.
This is it, Chris.
I just feel it. Yeah. One more minute.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh.
Big push. Big push.
Give it 7 more minutes.
There you go.
Who's that? Is that a female who's done the rig?
She did not make the rig.
Okay. So it's
look at how the women get punished here just for their stature.
about a foot away, and the weight of the chain just gets so heavy off the
But the
ground.
teeter tuber, what about the teeter tuber? They can zip right through it, and the low crawls.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's unfair. Just that female there had the tip of her toes hooked just to get her feet up to the bar.
All right, here we go.
Lean back. Here
Come
we
on,
go.
Chris. Here we go, Chrissy.
Oh.
Get those feet up.
Now this is that last transition point, getting her hands back up the rope.
Close. Come on, Chris.
Push at the legs. Come on.
Drive it.
Push.
Yes.
Keep going. Push. Again.
6 inches.
Push.
Come on, you got
Feet
it.
up.
You got it, Chrissy.
Don't let it go.
Don't let go. Come on, you got it.
Oh boy.
Guys,
Come on.
guys, she was 4 inches.
Yeah, little back and then get your legs up.
This is so painful to watch. Step on it. Step on it. Step on it.
There you go. You're good, Chris.
Get
Hey,
a-
that
get a good
technique
high
was it.
reach on it.
Tell her she can hold for 7 minutes there.
But why not just put it down at this point? I mean, if you're at this point, why not just start over?
Because she just rested for like 8 minutes to get her grip to the point where she almost made it to the top.
But it's not even. It looks like she let it all the way down again.
Stay under, lean over here.
I think she only has 1 or 2 links on the ground, which means she's almost at the heaviest it's been. She doesn't have to get back to this point. She can lean and rest on this without taking any arm strength whatsoever. She just has to get high up on it one time and push backwards, and then one last transition up. This is the hardest part right here, is getting her hands back up there without losing the tension and losing the ground that she earned. She could just put both feet on and scoot backwards, like just pushing herself away from the bar. She might get it.
Not going to happen.
And there's no decision in that. That's just her hands refusing to work any longer.
Yeah, it just bad break there. Who's this pulling over here to the left? Does she have her band? Does anybody have their band?
We would have heard such a roar of the crowd.
Nope. She's just taking off. Hey, she's about to get it. Yes, good job.
Does she have her band though?
She didn't get the rig, but she got the chain.
Okay. By the way, are they allowed? I thought you're not allowed to drop the chain. I think you're supposed to bring it down, just like a Spartan. No.
Well, 100% of people have dropped the chain. I think they're all flipping the middle bird to it too. We got a guy in a tuxedo over here.
Emily, that's not nice to call her common.
Hilarious, Bracken. Hilarious.
It's the old teacher in me, Matt.
Why don't you let me stick to the jokes? You're the insight guy.
You do what you got to do.
Well, Robert's checking out. Thanks, buddy. See you at Hilderbot next week, buddy. So I think that was it, though, for Chrissy. That was going to be the one, that last one, right? Because now she's only got a couple minutes to rest up. So
she has 8 minutes. And, again,
I forgot it was 10:05. I forgot she had those 2 extra minutes.
And you know the old quote, it's not the person watching, it's the one in the arena that matters. So it's not for us to sit here and second guess. But again, that's why I think I would have waited until 8:03 to even start pushing.
Why is she going back to the rig? She just got bored?
She's running back and forth.
Oh, she get blood moving.
Well, Dan, it his first time out as a camera guy is getting his money's worth. Man, you're out there all day, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the course will still be open for you to run afterwards.
Well, she's running backwards now.
You know, Dan's caught more of the race action than any photographer in the history of this sport.
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
But she's coming back now. We're just chilling, and yeah, we've seen it all. I'm gonna go run this thing later and know exactly what to do.
Tiffany's getting cold here. She's been out here so long.
Yeah, she's freezing. And so, Matt, you wanted that 1, 2, 3 picture at the finish line, buddy. Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do it.
No worries, buddy. No worries. You can do the podium picture, though.
Well, Matt, what did we learn today?
Well, people need to work on reverse cheese boards.
I mean, it comes down to everyone who was out there now knows how to do this moving forward. So the athletes who were not out there need to rewatch this section of the feed several times and at least do some mental reps to figure out, am I going alternating side of the board? Am I chicken winging? Get their technique set in stone mentally so that their first attempt is your best attempt.
Amy's still up there?
I haven't seen her.
And then, of course, if you get into a survival battle rather than a race, the ones who win are the ones who immediately take time to rest.
Correct.
Which pains me to even say.
Hang on a second. Is Meg still at the rig? Did Meg give up her bed, or is Meg still at the rig, Dan?
I don't know. Do you see Meg?
She's still at the rig.
And she's still trying?
Yes, she's still in this outside lane right there.
Oh,
Yes.
that's behind the truss?
Yeah, yeah.
See, to me, Matt, Meg falls into the category of too tough for her own good.
She should have waited longer, you mean? Or?
Yeah. But how do you tell a competitive athlete who's been in race mode for the last, 6
Meg
miles
fell again, guys.
to chill out? You can't.
All right.
Tell her not to start yet. She's got 5 minutes. Don't do it.
She's prepping herself.
Tell her to start at 9:03. It'll give her a minute and a half to get it up and then 30 seconds to get to the finish line.
You're in the wrong time zone, buddy.
10:03.
Thank you.
She made it through that rig. They just said she made
She
it
did?
through. Yeah, that's
Are you sure? Oh, we may have had another female, guys. Asleep.
Well, we can't catch her, so let's watch Amy's last try.
What, you want a name or not?
Not Amy, Chrissy.
Right. Okay, here goes Chrissy. Fine.
Sorry. We've been here with her this whole time. We can catch up to that girl in a
And
minute.
this is a different angle. See, we're going to get it on a different angle. Oh, guys, her top chain link is sideways. Come on. Oh, she's got it. Come on, Chrissy!
Muting so Dan doesn't scream in our ear.
Oh, no.
And I can't even see it because his camera's too high.
That's that. It was a good try today. Chrissy did everything she could.
Another female.
Make sure she has her band. Make sure she did the rig.
You got it. Hang on.
This is the Yancey style. Just run, breathe heavy.
Now, Matt, I am not at all insinuating anything about this woman who just crossed the finish line. However, when you get this far into a race, and if someone has the opportunity to sneak into a podium who is maybe 10 or 15 minutes down, you always wonder what happened on the course prior to that. Were they someone out there just having fun?
So you did it? Well, what's your name? Where are you from?
Ask her if she did all the obstacles.
So you completed every obstacle. So
Tell her she came in third place.
I think you're a third place finisher. Really? Welcome to the world. So again, say your name again so we can all hear. Pittance. Did you hear that, Matt?
Yes, somebody was rooting for her earlier. Hold on.
What was your bib number? Do you still have your bib or is it gone?
What's my bib number?
384. Hey, congratulations. You did it.
Well,
she's not quite sure if she should trust this guy.
Yeah, I know. She's like, who is this guy?
Well, let's talk to 295. That could be a relative. That could be a dad, maybe. Can we talk to this guy?
Are you guys all part of the same team here?
Yeah.
Is that your daughter?
Dad's from Buffalo.
From Buffalo, and are you all family?
Neighbors.
Neighbors.
She made the rig?
Yeah.
Well, because she's in the money spot. She's
Right.
Third overall.
She's third if you got the rig.
They're all stuck on the rig.
Did she do pro just to make sure?
What time did she start? Ask what time she started.
What time did you start, Pittance? 8:05, guys.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. A star is born.
Did you hear that?
Can you ask what her Instagram is?
Are you on Instagram? Announce it to the world.
Hybrid Ninja Pit.
Say it again.
Hybrid Ninja Pit.
Did you get that, Matt?
Yeah, well, that says it all, doesn't it?
Wow, look at this. Well, congratulations. This is your first time to the state of Ohio? Oh, good. See?
That's the look of disbelief and a little bit of confusion.
Well,
Right.
look, she's
Everybody's not quite sure. We've lost
Well-
Amy Pagic.
Well, when she said her name's Hybrid Ninja, that to me says, okay, she's legit. She's probably pretty good at obstacles.
That's what it took today.
Yeah.
Well, I'd
Think
love
of
to
this-
talk to her. I'd love to talk to her more, but she's young, and so I feel sort of weird. She seems, I don't
Right.
wanna
Well,
be
she's
awkward.
young and clearly some strange man talking to her.
Well, can
with
we
a
can we
camera.
get one of the parents on the line? Can we get like a parent or a brother, one of those
I
guys?
can try.
She's not 12. I don't know if she went there with parental guidance.
I mean, I just
Are
listen,
you guys
dude.
all part of the crew here in the matching shirts?
She's our support crew.
Ask if there's a parent.
What, Matt?
Ask if one of them is the parent.
Do we have a parent? She looks young. Is she young?
Yeah.
She's 16.
She's 16?
Yeah. See.
Okay,
see?
Matt. I don't want to be the creepy guy saying, "Oh, she looks super young," but you were right.
Right. That's why you can just tell.
They did lane 1.
Yeah.
She did that, so it was actually technically the open
Lanes?
lane.
Oh,
She
is there?
She didn't do the cheese part, the queso part.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you didn't have the blue thing that you went through? Like the flimsy cheese board? They changed it at that point. Okay. Then I'm not
Okay. Well, then.
sure.
All right. Well, we don't have a third place finisher. It seems like
But congratulations on doing so well.
Lloyd or Bo. Are you catching all this? I hope you are.
Are you talking to me?
So congratulations on everything we said, but we take it all back. This is why we discuss it internally before announcing to an athlete. Oh,
all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and Dan, if you can get Bo or Lloyd for me. Okay, who's that? Sorry, that's
All right, I got to give back the gimbal, boys. I got to go.
okay. Bye. All right. So from where we stand, there is no third place finisher.
our day ends like it began,
with a whimper,
chaos, confusion, and a whimper.
Well, the question is, why did they though? Like, did they announce, "Hey, we're because I know they do that," which I think is I've said Spartan should do that, right? The elites do something, the opens do another. But I did if they would have given her the opportunity. She is a young little ninja. Could she have made it? That's I'm a little unclear on that.
Well, if they only opened up one open lane, I'm sure that the board was passed that if you want to pass through on this, go ahead.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she just wasn't paying attention. You know, she's young. She wasn't paying attention. Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? Youths.
Well, Bracken, it's always a treat hanging out with you.
It's a pleasure.
Anything else you want to shout out besides your amazing program? Who's coming on next week?
We have actually Kirk took care of the guests for next week, and I do not know. He's keeping me in the dark.
Okay.
However, I'm excited for our next production, Matt. These races, probably you see more of the race on this than any other production we have. And it's just fun watching races this year. I say it every time, but each time feels like a gift that races are back.
I think I totally agree. And especially when we kind of had best of both worlds, top names plus surprises, right? We love that.
Yeah. And we had one world champion DNF. There was drama, there was intrigue, there was scandal.
One world champion and one North American champion.
Yeah, that's very true.
Ryan Woods is a North American champion.
Think of the scalps some of the people got today.
The scalps. Describe the scalps, and then we'll wrap it up.
And I mean, it's probably not the greatest term historically speaking to use.
We probably shouldn't now that I think about it. Forget that I said that.
But when you beat someone in a race, you have a win over them and you add that to your belt. And my personal theory on racing, Matt, is that anyone you beat, you absorb their PRs. That's the spoils of war. So anyone who beat Woodsy today is now a 13:55K runner and a sub 4 miler. Anyone who beat Jordan McDougall has now qualified for Team USA mountain running. So anyone who beat Lindsay Webster is now an OCR world champion.
There you go.
So that's my take on beating people in races. You absorb the essence of their PRs.
I love it. All right, man. Thanks for being on with me.
Enjoy your weekend.